or breast cancer. Please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis. Diesel-burning trucks belch dangerous levels of pollution, and communities living near ports and along freight corridors breathe especially high levels of this dirty air. But this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. I'm working to clean up our air quality, particularly for communities that bear the burden of diesel pollution. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
Milwaukee's Black Talk lives here. You are listening to 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Despite the fact that black Americans drink about the same amount of spirits as their white counterparts, they only make up a small portion of those in charge of spirits companies. That's according to research done by Pronghorn, a firm that's investing in black-owned spirits brands and works to help black people in the industry reach leadership positions. Dia Sims is co-founder of the initiative and says the work it's doing for the spirit space can translate to any industry.
We're building an open code so that the same methodology could be applied to left-handed unicorns that want to get into oil, right? It could be to all veterans that are 6'5" that want to get into tech, right? It's much more around what's the math, the process, the training, the zip codes, the information, the inputs, the outputs, and the measurement that actually drives success.
Pronghorn has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in black-owned spirits companies. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder, now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the the noise. He amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping. Like a heartbeat's call, he's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Monday, January 26th, 2026. Yet another tragedy from the city of Minneapolis, as many of you witnessed the execution-style murder of an anti-immigration protester, Alex Preddy. The family has come out with a statement obviously denouncing what the Department of Homeland Security Secretary and others, the negative picture they are trying to paint of their beloved Alex Preddy, who was an ICU nurse at the VA. He took care of our veterans and was all around, for all intents and purposes, a decent human being. What we witnessed in the totality of how ICE is executing its immigration orders is far more nuanced than the simple explanations. I know people are doing a lot of comparisons to, Kyle Rittenhouse, who was at the protests in Kenosha, and he was armed, because now some Republicans and conservatives and Donald Trump sycophants are saying, well, you shouldn't bring a gun to a protest. And people are now looking at the Second Amendment as, hey, you have the right constitutionally to bring a firearm to a protest. What is so fascinating, but then another one of these nuances here, because you have to look at all the details. There are so many still photos of the cell phone footage of the murder of Alex Preddy. He was shot 10 times, by the way. But there are so many photos from so many different angles, and I bet we probably don't even have half of them available to the public yet. The most important one is because his cell phone was running as well, and some people thought that he had a firearm. We're talking about Alex Preddy, who is now deceased. People thought he had a firearm. He had a cell phone. I would love to see the cell phone footage that he captured, the moments leading up to and just after his death, and the conversations that were had. Like, what was the dialogue between him and these ICE agents? Something else that is kind of being pushed off to the wayside, because I want to do my level best to cover all of the details of this so that people have a much more thorough understanding. These ICE agents were pushing women to the ground. And he, as an ICU nurse, I'm assuming his training kicked in, and he wanted to save these women and pull them onto the sidewalk and pull them to safety. He got bear sprayed in his face. So while all of this is going on, he's pretty much blinded. But in one of the still photos, and this is likely the most important photo of the investigation, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, I assure you there will be an investigation. The problem is, and I say it's a problem, it will require the people in the United States of America to vote for Democrats in the House of Representatives, for them to get the majority to open up these investigations. So that ICE officer, who will still remain nameless for a while because he will be protected by the administration, is going to go to federal prison. But we have got something to do in order to bring these ICE agents to justice. And I've got a whole list of people that ICE have killed so far in the year 2026. We are 26 days into the new year, and ICE has murdered 9 people. Minneapolis in 2026, so 26 days into the new year, Minneapolis has had 3 homicides. 2 of them have been committed by ICE. In one of the still photos, you see one of the ICE agents disarm Mr. Preddy. You see him take his firearm off of his person. So when he is shot, he is, in fact, unarmed and probably blinded from the bear spray. Now, there is no way in which you can spin this to justify that killing. And then the people that are saying, wait a minute, he's got the Second Amendment right. He does, but there's something that Donald Trump said that most of us overlook because there's a strategy with this administration that is so hard to comprehend because Americans were taught the land of the free and the home of the brave and everybody has rights. I had a bit of a back and forth with one of our more seasoned callers last week, and I talked about how our rights were given to us. We think that as black people, because I got to interject black people in this because this scenario is very familiar to us where a legally armed or a legally present human being gets gunned down by law enforcement because they are assumed to be a threat. So for us, this is very familiar. That's why I want to delve into the details of it because this one is a little bit different. It's different. On the surface, you would think, oh, this happens to black people all the time. And, oh, white people, you're now being treated like black people. It's a little bit more fine print than that. This is less about race and more about if you oppose this administration, they will kill you. If you oppose this administration, they will ruin your life. If you oppose this administration, they will investigate you with the fullest power and weight of the federal government. If you oppose this administration, they will defame your character. So that's what this is about. But in order to do all of this and to defy Americans' constitutional rights, and again, these rights, they were given, and they also have to be enforced by the agency that is also taking them away. So it's a bit of a catch-22 and extremely ironic. The rights that we have got to be enforced universally by all three branches of government. And if they don't, then all of the rights seem to fade away. Donald Trump needed a catalyst to be able to defy people's constitutional rights. And so right now I'm talking about the Second Amendment specifically. You should be able to, as the Constitution states, open carry in all 50 states, and some states have a little bit more regulation than require you to have a permit. And if you are a permit holder in good standing, you can carry your weapon concealed. That is legal, that is legitimate, it is constitutional, and it does not break any state law. But now they are saying, including, I believe it's a high-up official in the Trump administration, so many people are saying so much stuff, the information overload is just in abundance, saying that now, if you bring a firearm to a protest, even if you are carrying legally, ICE agents have the right to shoot you. Now, we all know that's illegal, that's unconstitutional, but there is no one to stop these ICE agents. And so then you would wonder, well, what about the local police? Local police in Minneapolis have been stopped, have been pulled over, and have been questioned about their citizenship since ICE has descended on Minneapolis. Can you believe that? Local police officers being pulled over by federal agents and having to prove who they are, and they are members of law enforcement. Minneapolis has, and I was shocked to find this out, they got a police force of 600. Oh, Milwaukee could only wish if we had a police force of only 600 sworn officers. There are 3,000 ICE agents in Minneapolis. Local police are outnumbered, and they are outranked. There's nothing that they can do. I wouldn't be shocked if a local municipal cop in Minnesota would actually be arrested and held and detained by ICE because they can. But in order to do all of this, Trump needed a catalyst because he remarked, some of y'all remember, some of y'all don't. I'm sure I covered it because it was shocking news. On or about December 3rd, 2022, Trump posted something on Truth Social. So he needed this catalyst, and what Donald Trump's catalyst was, because you need some large, prevailing, overwhelming, catastrophic event in order to do that. And I think some of y'all were just afraid of martial law. This is worse, because at least with martial law, the courts are the prevailing law enforcement. Now it's a rogue bandit of traveling, armed, untrained, fat thugs. Trump said, well, if you're going to steal the 2020 election from me, then I should be able to suspend the Constitution. All of that was manufactured. Saying the 2020 election was stolen was manufactured. People inside of Trump's administration, inside of his cabinet, other Republicans, especially Republicans that lived in states where Donald Trump lost, they all said, look, we've watched this election closer than any election in history because of, Russian influence and foreign influence and all the, big tech giants that might be fiddling and diddling with the election results. The 2020 election was the most secure election that we have had in American history, but that didn't matter. Donald Trump lost. He said the election was stolen. And because he said the election was stolen, and he and others may believe it, that gives him the right to suspend the Constitution. It's wacky when you think about it, but you need some major event, some big, huge, shocking, political, catastrophic situation. And it was, they stole the 2020 election from me. Now I get to suspend the Constitution. When he said that, when he used the theft of the 2020 election to justify suspending the Constitution, even conservatives, especially law-abiding Second Amendment, Bill of Rights, First 10th Amendment, all 27th Amendment, God-fearing conservatives should have said, we can't elect this guy. We can't elect somebody that's going to use an event, whether real or fictional, him losing the 2020 election because of voter fraud, if he's going to use that false event to suspend the Constitution, that delivers us to where we are right now. But here's the thing. He says so much stuff. You can't possibly know what he means and what he doesn't mean. They flood the zone with so much stuff. It's another reason why Donald Trump wanted to buy Fox News, because he really wanted to flood that zone. But that's also why he has Truth Social. He can put out any information that he wants, even if it's false and if it's erroneous, but it allows him to suspend the Constitution because he said basically, well, if they can steal the 2020 election from me, then now I can do whatever I want if I get back into power. And he did, because the black lady lost. Family members say the man killed by federal officers in Minneapolis on Saturday was an intensive care nurse at the Veterans Administration who cared deeply about people and was upset by President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown in his city. Alex Jeffrey Preddy, age 37, was an avid outdoorsman who loved getting into adventure with Julie, his beloved leopard dog, who also recently died. He had participated in protests following the killing of Renee Good by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement on January 7th. So there was a guy named Keith Porter. Side note. Give you this side note, and I'm going to take a break, and we're going to unpack all of it today as best I can in 3 hours. So a guy named Keith Porter. You probably haven't heard of him because, well, he's a black guy. That's why. The murders of white people in situations like this is always going to get a lot more attention because, oh, my God, it's so much more shocking. So Keith Porter was, to the best of my knowledge, the only African-American. He's a citizen, Keith Porter, from Los Angeles. He was killed by an off-duty ICE agent. You know when he was killed? You know when Keith Porter was killed? And what's crazy, it didn't even make the news because nobody even cared. You know what Keith Porter was doing when he was murdered by an ICE agent? Something that we do here in the city of Milwaukee, and we laugh about it. Keith Porter was shooting off his firearm at New Year's Eve at midnight. An ICE agent saw this black man shooting this firearm and said, I think I'm going to murder him because he's got a gun. Now, that's a kind of a tough situation, though, because technically you can't shoot your firearms off into the air during New Year's Eve. Can't tell Milwaukee folks that because I can't tell you how many tens of hundreds of thousands of pieces of ammunition that we waste. Let me just give you guys just a little quick bit of advice. Save your ammo. Okay, just trust me on that. Stop shooting your guns off in the air for New Year's Eve. You're going to want to save that ammo. I just have a sneaking suspicion, so stop wasting the ammo. Yeah, but the ICE agent sees this guy shooting his gun off, and I'm sure there's probably dozens of other people in the vicinity also shooting their firearms off in L.A. at midnight, and the ICE officer kills him. Barely even made a headline. But he was one of the 9 people that ICE have murdered so far. So take a break, come back. Going to unpack some things. And, of course, your questions, comments, your concerns, your emotional responses are always welcome here. You can do so on the YouTube and go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. Search 1017 The Truth and hit subscribe. You can call us or text us at 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Don't go anywhere. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Alex Jeffrey Preddy, age 37. Also, Renee Good was 37 as well. Was an avid outdoorsman who loved getting into adventures with Julie, his beloved leopard dog, who also recently died. Quote, he cared about people deeply, and he was very upset with what was happening in Minneapolis and throughout the United States with ICE, as millions of other people are upset, said Michael Preddy, Alex's father. He thought it was terrible, kidnapping children, just grabbing people off the street. He cared about those people, and he knew it was wrong, so he did participate in protests. Preddy was a U.S. citizen born in Illinois like Good. Court records showed he had zero criminal record, and his family said he had no interactions with law enforcement beyond a handful of traffic citations. In a recent conversation with their son, his parents, who live in Colorado, told him to be careful when protesting. Quote, we had this discussion with him 2 weeks ago or so, so that go ahead and protest, but do not engage, do not do anything stupid, Michael Preddy said. And he said he knows that and that he knew that. Family members said Preddy owned a handgun and had a permit to carry a concealed handgun in Minnesota. They said they had never known him to actually carry it. The family first learned of the shooting when they were called by an Associated Press reporter. What a horrible way to find out. They watched the video and said the man who was killed appeared to be their son. They then tried reaching out to officials in Minnesota, and I just have a stack of stories. There was a man who was in the vicinity, right? So not the pink jacket lady is what we're calling her, the woman who has the first footage that was released publicly where you hear her, filming the entire interaction with the ICE agents, pushing those two women down to the ground, and then it is her video footage in which you see and hear the actual shots. There was another man that was in the vicinity that ICE agents saw that he was recording the homicide of Mr. Preddy, and they arrested him and took his phone. Oh, it's just pure chaos. It is pure chaos. But in order to do this, to suspend the Constitution and to murder people with reckless abandon. Now, remember, this is not necessarily about race. This is about those that oppose this administration. Because you've got members of Congress who are under federal investigation for doing what? Telling members of the National Guard that they have a right and an obligation to disobey illegal orders. When you swear and you take like an oath when you get into the military, one of the things that you are swearing on is that you will not obey illegal orders. And so Democratic members of Congress said, hey, just to let you guys know, because Donald Trump is commander-in-chief of the U.S. military, you have to disobey illegal orders. Those individuals that said that members of our military have to disobey illegal orders are now under investigation. This is about opposing this regime. If you oppose it, they will kill you. And the people that are executing those opposing this administration are not seeing any consequences just yet. There's a lot that's riding on the shoulders of the Democrats. And also, we are on the heels of another government shutdown. So you guys remember the last government shutdown where they suspended food share benefits for 25 or 30 million Americans. But don't worry about that, because I plan to feed a bunch of people in miles had that government shutdown gone on longer. Tony Evers actually stepped in and did some gap filling. So people in Wisconsin saw a very brief interruption in their food share benefits. This one likely will be more severe because, and this is why I'm nervous, because the Democrats can't mess up, because they still can fall short in the midterm elections because there's just so much to hold against the damn Democrats. And the Democratic Party is scatterbrained. So one of the funding proposals that is likely going to be in this next what we call clean continuing resolution is funding ICE. Because the last government shutdown only funded the government until January 30th, and if my calculations are correct, that's about 96 hours from right now. The federal government, the executive branch of the federal government, in which ICE is under the auspices of, is gonna need more money. Listen to me, listen. Every Democrat, everyone, even like almost Democrats, moderates, more centrist Republicans who live in like a Trump +5 district or a Kamala Harris +2 district have got to vote against additional ICE funding because it's incredibly expensive to have 3,000 ICE agents just in Minneapolis. And I'm not even sure what other cities they are in. They're probably in 25 or 30 different cities, but it's extremely expensive. And in order for them to stay, so if we want ICE out, a couple of things can be done. The president can say leave, which, not likely. In fact, Trump is sending Tom Homan, who is the quote-unquote border czar. He's sending Tom Homan to Minnesota, I think, to try and cool the temperature. Absolutely the wrong person to send. Here's something else that I find a little interesting and fascinating, just to show how inconsistent and how wrought with lies this administration is. Why are you sending the border czar to Minnesota? Minnesota is America. It's not near Mexico. It's not even close. It's closer to Canada. So Trump is sending Tom Homan. So one way to get ICE out of Minneapolis, and a lot of the fear is, ICE is going to come to Milwaukee. I do want to talk about that at some point because I don't think it's going to look like what it looks like in Minnesota. They won't do this again. I have a sneaking suspicion that ICE on the other side of this government shutdown is going to look real different. But there's two ways in which ICE can leave, totally vacate Minneapolis. If the president tells them to go, or if they lose their funding. Because you can't afford to feed and to house and to arm these 3,000 agents. That's got to be a pretty significant cost every single day. So Congress has got to appropriate the funding in order for ICE to be able to operate at that capacity. I just think about that for a second. They're operating at a capacity of 5 times the local Minneapolis police force. So if they came to Milwaukee, let me do a little quick math here. I think that we have like 1,500 sworn Milwaukee police officers that are out patrolling our 96.1 square miles of this city. Imagine if we had 7,500 or 8,000 ICE officers in the city of Milwaukee. What a recipe for disaster. But in order for that to happen, that is why I don't think that they will appear in Milwaukee in the numbers, because when their numbers are that big, and here's something a lot of folks don't get. When you have an overwhelming amount of law enforcement, because we've always complained about, oh, the black community is over-policed. Absolutely. Because when you over-police an area, you get more interactions with law enforcement, you get more police brutality, and you get more shootings of innocent people. Just by having more law enforcement in an area, this is what you get. This phenomenon is not new to us. That's why this is so familiar to African Americans, because we have long complained about being over-policed. And those of us that don't feel safe in our neighborhoods and our communities, just think about this. And you say, oh, we want more police. And a lot of you do. A lot of you want more cops because you feel safe. The more police you have in your neighborhood, I'm talking about you good people. You're one of the good ones. You don't break the law. You don't go criming. You don't commit the crimes. You're very law-abiding and probably God-fearing and all of the other things. You pray. You eat healthy. You go for walks. You're a good person. But when your community is over-policed, that increases the likelihood that you are going to get pulled over for that busted tail light, that you are going to get pulled over for going 2.1 miles per hour over the speed limit. And then when you get pulled over, what do you say? You say, oh, no, officer, I'm one of the good ones. That cop don't care, because they have been sent to over-police your community. So you got to be very careful with that. But this phenomenon is very consistent. Whenever you inundate a place with any kind of law enforcement, the likelihood that you're going to have negative consequences goes up exponentially. The family first learned of the shooting when they were called by an Associated Press reporter. They watched the video and said the man who was killed appeared to be their son. They then tried reaching out to officials in Minnesota. Quote, I can't get any information from anybody, Michael Preddy said on Saturday. The police, they said, called Border Patrol. Border Patrol is closed. The hospitals won't even answer any questions. Eventually, the family called the Hennepin County Medical Examiner, who said they confirmed they had a body matching the name and description of their son. Take a break, come back, continue our chit-chat about these first few acts of the American Revolution and the second shot heard around the world from Minneapolis. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. In a matchup fueled by speed, strength, and school pride. On Wednesday night, get ready for a city conference battle as the Bradley Tech Trojans take on the South Division Cardinals in a matchup fueled by speed, strength, and school pride. Big plays, loud crowds, and city conference bragging rights are on the line. Tip-off is set for 7 o'clock.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family.
They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more. We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad, and I feel very proud to be his son.
I was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
As of Saturday evening, the family said they had still not heard from anyone at a federal law enforcement agency about their son's death. After seeing videos of Trump administration officials suggesting their son was attacking the officers who shot him, they issued a written statement describing themselves as both heartbroken and angry. The sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting. They added that video showed Alex Preddy was not holding a gun when he was tackled by federal agents, but holding his phone with one hand and using the other hand to shield a woman who was being pepper sprayed. And all of this, ladies and gentlemen, is something that is very fundamental, something core. Stopping and preventing violence against women. That is what this man was doing, and for that, he was a hero. But think about this. He was stopping violence against women from federal agents, instruments of the Trump administration that were pushing women to the ground. And this man stepped in. Now, of course, I could go on some long and very well-informed soliloquy about the lack of masculinity of left-leaning, liberal, and progressive men. But the only people that I am seeing and hearing from that lack masculinity are the conservatives that support Donald Trump. Well, he shouldn't have been out there because, you know, when those guys are out there, you have to do what they say. I have listened until I was nauseous about these right-wing conservatives say that they're not going to stand for a tyrannical government, that they will rise up against the government and they will use their Second Amendment. Let me tell you what I think about them because they're showing who they are right now, because now they are being more, they're acquiescing more to the unconstitutionality of this administration than any left-leaning liberal ever would. These are the real cuckolds. Go look that word up. Some of these guys are so loyal to Donald Trump and everything the administration is doing, including the illegal things, including the unconstitutional things. And I put this on, I don't know, one of my social medias. I kind of went ham a little bit this weekend. How can you blame me? There was so much going on. If you're a Trump supporter, you are more likely to let an ICE agent break into your house, rape your wife, than you are to use the Second Amendment to defend her. Because the way that they are supporting this lawlessness of this administration is just, what is history going to say about them? It's going to be way worse than what I can say in the moment. Quote, the sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting. They added that videos showed Alex Preddy was not holding a gun when he was tackled by federal agents, but holding his phone with one hand and using the other to shield a woman who was being pepper sprayed. So currently in Minnesota, there's a flurry of lawsuits that are being filed in federal court to preserve all of the evidence, namely Alex Preddy's cell phone footage, which I guarantee they wiped it. Guarantee. They don't want that footage getting out because it might actually show what happened. And Alex Preddy wasn't doing anything wrong. He was using his First Amendment. You can be out there. And guess what? You can be out there armed because of the Second Amendment. But now we come to find out the Second Amendment is not worth the paper that it's printed on, because if you oppose an authoritarian regime and you having a gun and having a gun legally, they'll kill you. A Trump administration official basically said as much. Well, if you go to a protest with a gun, ICE agents have the right to kill you. You know what? I bet you that bulletin has probably been communicated to every single one of these little fat pig ICE agents that are all throughout American cities. Oh, if they have a gun, you can shoot them. I am noticing something, though. Minneapolis has learned a lesson. We need to take some clues and cues from them. They're not burning their city down. Have you noticed that? They're keeping it kind of focused on the issue. They're not. We would start some fires. Well, mostly because we as black people, we don't own the stuff that we burn down. But I could understand in Minneapolis if they wanted to start a fire or two, because it's really cold up there. It was 10 degrees below zero, and they had as many people at a protest as we would have in the summer. It's very cold. Look, you guys want to start this AutoZone on fire just to keep warm? So someone said, no, don't start the AutoZone on fire. I need to go there and get an alternator. Please get the truth out about our son. He was a good man, they said. Alex Preddy grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where he played football, baseball, and ran track for Preble High School. He was literally a Boy Scout and sang in the choir. He was a choir boy. They murdered a model citizen. After graduation, he went to the University of Minnesota, graduating in 2011 with a bachelor's degree in biology, society, and the environment, according to his family. He worked as a research scientist before returning to school to become a registered nurse. Donald Trump sending Tom Homan to Minnesota. The president announced on social media. The president is dispatching his border czar, Tom Homan, to Minnesota. Why is the border czar going to Minnesota? See, they're trying to cool the temperature a little bit. I saw a poll, and these polls are all over the place. You know, it's crazy. And so the poll was conducted, I think the last day of the poll was about 7 days ago. So it was the 16th through the 19th of January. And it said 49%. So Renee Good had already been killed. So even after that murder, 49% of those polled thinks that the Trump administration's handling of immigration enforcement has gone too far. Not even half the country. And for those of us, because black folks, I think we overestimate how white people feel. We don't know how white people feel. We think that we do. We see like a little bit of evidence that there's like cracks in Donald Trump's support, and we say stuff like, oh, the whites are turning on Trump. No, they're not. Nope. No, they're not. When I get into some of the other details that I have to share with you today, including a video, I don't know if we're going to play it or not, because it's always a hassle trying to. When I view videos on my social media feed, I think they impact more than when we show them on YouTube. But there's a video on the U.S. Department of Labor website that basically says our country, our land, our heritage, and it shows vintage photos of white people like from the 1930s. Like there's no black people, there's no Latinos, Hispanics, and Asians. It is pure white supremacist propaganda. There's another one. So there's a song. I was thinking about playing it, but I don't want to give the artist any credit. There's a song that is being used as like a rallying cry for Nazis. And it's called We'll Have Our Home Again. And it's by basically a white supremacist rock band called the Pine Tree Roots. The Trump administration is using that song to recruit people. I'm not kidding you. And so some of us are thinking, oh, yeah, the white people are not supporting Trump anymore. They are doubling down on recruiting white nationalists and white supremacists into the federal government and giving them big money to do so. $50,000 signing bonus is a six-figure salary, and they will forgive your student loans if you join ICE. They are taking advantage of economic deprivation, almost like trying to recruit poor, penniless, landless soldiers to fight for the Confederacy so that wealthy people could maintain their economic stability of owning slavery. But non-slave owning, broke, poor, landless, penniless white peasants were fighting in the Civil War on behalf of their rich masters. And it's crazy because there was extreme poverty in the South amongst white people because slavery, the institution itself, was against the economic interests of white people. Let me explain this so we can have a better understanding of today. When you could buy a black person and they can perform all of the labors that you need, you're not going to hire a white person and pay them a wage. You're going to keep white people unemployed. But at the same time, you're going to tell these poor indigent white people that, well, you know, you're better than the blacks are. Yeah, I know you're poor, white person. I know you don't have a job because we've basically purchased our labor through property and human beings. But boy, oh boy, you sure are better than those blacks. Why don't you fight a war on our behalf? And we'll pay you a really super low wage if you join the Confederacy. The economic deprivation that we're complaining about, because remember when Joe Biden's biggest crime was the price of eggs, so everybody was mad. I didn't even know you guys made that many omelets, but people were mad that grocery prices were getting very expensive. Oh, eggs are too expensive. It's Joe Biden's fault. Well, eggs are even more expensive now. And so if somebody is suffering through economic deprivation and ICE is offering $50,000 and $100,000 a year, not only will some of these poor folks sign up, they will sign up and be loyal to the mission, including killing people on behalf of the administration. Less than 2 days after Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent Jonathan Ross fatally shot Renee Good in Minneapolis during a controversial law enforcement operation, the Department of Homeland Security's official Instagram account made a recruitment post immediately afterwards proclaiming, quote, "We'll have our home again," attaching a song of the same name by the Pine Tree Riots, popularized in neo-Nazi spaces. The track features lines about reclaiming our home by blood or sweat, language used in white nationalist calls for a race war. The administration posted that on Instagram. Nazi propaganda is being used to recruit people in your government, in your name. These Democrats in Congress better not vote for a damn penny for ICE. They better not. I'm watching. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Coming with straight truth.
We can do anything when it comes to being organized, when it comes to making sure that we're active, when it comes to making sure that we're holding people accountable and making sure that we get something out of the deal. Y'all don't know how to make deals. Y'all mad at Donald J. Trump because he's trying to make deals or trying to say that he's the master of the art of the deal. Well, okay, what deals is you trying to make?
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miller from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. Custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, you name it. We can do it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more is family-owned and all about celebrating life's big moments. Maybe it's a milestone birthday, a celebration for your child's first goal, or that work fundraising event. We are everyone's printer. No minimum orders, affordable designs, and help straight from me and our team. We're the one-stop shop for all your custom needs. Start your project today at bigfrog.com/Mequon.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a bright, focused foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I can't help myself. I want to hear it. I want to hear a little bit of it. Hang on a second.
I'll hold my tears and trade my years for a glimpse at kingdom come. On the other side of misery, there's a world we long to see. The strife we share will take us there to relief and sovereignty. Oh my God, we'll have.
Oh, this is frightening. So this is a song that has been adopted by white nationalists, white supremacists, and neo-Nazis as like a rallying cry for a race war. And the U.S. Department of Homeland Security uses this song in a recruitment video on their Instagram page. What is happening? Somebody, who said it? I read it somewhere. I read so much stuff over the last few days. They are trying to bait us into a race war. We don't want that. I don't want it. That's...
Down on me, I wonder what they feel to see their noble sons driven down beneath a coward's heel. Oh my God, we'll have our home again. By God, we'll have our home.
Oh my God.
By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. By God, we'll have our home.
So that's what the government, federal government, is using to recruit people to be ICE agents. That's not what some of you voted for, or is it? The reason why I don't think the Trump regime, administration, whatever it is losing support as quickly, because we think that when a white person gets killed by law enforcement, we think that turns them. No, it doesn't. The reason why... So we always platform when an African American gets killed by law enforcement, almost no matter what a black person does. Oh no, the cops killed a black person. We make a big deal out of it because, there's a connected history there that we have never taught nor healed from. So whenever it happens in modern times, it's huge for us. When a white person is killed by law enforcement, it doesn't even make the news really. And most white people will be like, well, what did they do to get themselves killed? Because what we fail to see, understand, and appreciate, because there's a lot of holes in how history is taught just in general. White people have been killing each other for like tens of thousands of years. So when they off one another, it's just like, what did they do to get killed? Like the Scottish and the English, and in Ireland, Northern Ireland and Ireland, the Protestants and the Catholics been blowing each other up for hundreds of years. Like for them, when a white person gets killed by authority, it's more like, well, why weren't you listening? They don't get nearly as upset. So when we see white people getting killed by law enforcement, by the heavy hand of an authoritarian regime, we think, oh, white people are going to be fed up now. No, they're so used to that. They've been killing each other. What do you think World War II was? World War II was Russia and Western Europe killing Germans and vice versa. It's weird that the Japanese were allied with Nazi Germany because Hitler hated everybody that wasn't pure Aryan and white. But the Japanese being on the side of Hitler and Nazi Germany is kind of like black Trump supporters, right? It's like, that the Trump supporters don't like you as a black person, but let's join them anyway, and maybe one day we can be friends. Because Hitler was just as likely to kill somebody Japanese as he was black, as he was gay, as he was Jewish. But no, white folks have been murdering each other for a really long time. And so I think the question is, especially for us as black people, where do we fit into this? What are we supposed to do? What action should we be compelled into? And there's a couple of different explanations. I by no means want to lose the humanity of this moment that Alex Pretty was murdered by untrained, cowardly, fat, pig ICE agents. That's going to stay with us, and it's going to be an embedded part of this history of this country forever. But at the same time, if black folks are out there protesting, we set our own series of boundaries. We know not to get too close to them folks because we know what might happen. Now, we'll be out there. We'll be in the streets. There's black folks out there protesting in Minneapolis, but they staying way back. They staying out of the reach of the bear spray, which paints your face orange, by the way. Let's talk to Pat from Milwaukee. Pat, you're on 101.7 The Truth.
Hi. What you said earlier, they don't mind killing each other. That's all they ever done. When they, like you said, over in that country, they barbarians. They don't mind killing anything or anybody. And what makes them think that they won't kill them? That's all they did until they got to us. And then they start killing us when they found some new meat. They start killing us and the indigenous people. But before that, they were killing each other like animals. So you're absolutely right. What they think of killing each other is nothing. And when they ran out of killing us, then they moved on to the next phase. And I listen to what you have to say to that comment.
All right, thank you, Pat. Thank the tribes that are intra-racial, there's always been conflict, right? So Indian people fought Indian people, and African people fought African people, European fought European people. But what I don't want us as black people to do is involve ourselves. We already know that a lot of parts of the government is anti-black because we've lost a whole bunch. We've lost affirmative action. We've lost DEI. The federal government basically zeroed out its cancer funding and its cancer research funding because black people were living longer with that research funding. And my father just died of cancer, so it hits home for me. But what we don't need to do is involve ourselves in white people that have had a long-standing beef with one another since before they enchained and enslaved us. We don't. White folks been fighting each other. In fact, some of the most visceral fights aren't even between black and white. It's between liberal white folks and progressive white folks and conservatives and evangelicals. They go at each other harder than white folks go after us because we as black people, and I know some of y'all don't want to hear this, we're easy to defeat. We are. You just throw a little misinformation in our community and 10% of us are going to die because we don't trust the vaccine. It doesn't take nearly as much effort. But one of the reasons why I think ICE agents were given directives to kill is to intimidate people. Just stay away from them, let them do their business, and that's the decision and the crossroad that America has to come to. Now, Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, they came out with statements. They were kind of tepid in their language. They said Americans still need to resist ICE. Now, they didn't call for violent extremism, but they did call for the repeated, continuous, nonviolent, peaceful protests against immigration and customs enforcement because we really have reached an inflection point here in the United States. And so I'm just curious as to if you are a Donald Trump supporter, are you okay with the usurpation of the Constitution, especially the Second Amendment, which, Kyle Rittenhouse, who was only 17, by the way. He needed his little ass kicked, 17 years old. And he was from Illinois, too. Walking around Kenosha streets with an AR-15 that was bigger than him. Well, now he's fat, so now he's bigger than his AR-15. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
Come in with straight truth.
If you acted up, if you were out here doing any kind of foolishness or just something that people know would make your family's name look bad, your neighbor from down the street, if they see the son or daughter, be like, what are you doing? They gonna call you out. They gonna let you know that they saw you. And then they gonna tell you, come here. Mm-hmm. Now, you know I'm gonna tell your daddy.
That part.
There are a lot of times when people are new to an area, they don't know where to plug in. And anybody who plugs in to 101.7 The Truth and listen to you and Dame and Truth Nation would know that there is a significant public outcry when violence happens in our community. Don't worry about the outcry if you're not listening to the right people. So I would encourage her to tune in to 101.7 The Truth and listen to you guys, Denise Thomas, Dr. Ken Harris, Tori Lowe, and definitely Sherwin Hughes every day.
Watch all your favorite 101.7 The Truth shows by subscribing to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
Day 1, diagnosis day. The hardest day. The day you hear,
I'm sorry, this is a type of blood cancer.
By But day one is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day one.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
I missed a lot of school during treatment, and LLS helped me keep up.
We are here for you. We exist for everyone fighting leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and other types of blood cancer.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday Counts study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
Breaking news, weather, entertainment, and sports. We have it all here. This is 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
There's nothing left but the fire in my chest and the air that fills my lungs. I'll hold my tears and trade my years for a glimpse at kingdom come. On the other side of misery, there's a world we long to see. The strife we share will take us there to relief and sovereignty. Oh my God.
Welcome to hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. This is a song by the Pine Tree Riots. It is a song that has been recently adopted by neo-Nazis and white nationalists and white supremacists as a calling for a race war. The reason why this song is significant, and I probably shouldn't be playing it, but I'm playing this for the historical record of it. This song is being used on the Department of Homeland Security's Instagram to recruit people into ICE. A song that has been adopted by Nazis, white nationalists, and white supremacists calling for a race war is being used by this administration to recruit killers. Let's talk to Brandon. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you? Hello, Brandon. Are you with me, Brandon? Brandon, are you there?
Fine.
Our producer didn't turn you up. Oh, hi, Andrew. Welcome to the show. Hi, Brandon. What's on your your mind, Brandon?
Hey, I wanted to respond to that comment where you said black Trump supporters are akin to the Japanese and their partnership with Hitler. I think that's not just insulting. It's almost beyond inflammatory.
Insulting to who?
We live in it's insulting to the people who actually are supporters of Trump and who also, care about the community that they live in.
Okay.
One of the things that you seem to run from is that your side lost the election. Republicans didn't win. Your side lost because she would rather have Megan Thee Stallion on stage.
Shut up, Brandon. ICE has murdered 2/3 of the homicide victims in Minneapolis. Shut up, Brandon. Don't they have a slogan about because they call Joe Biden Brandon? That's why black folks are easy to disrespect. Like, that's insane to me. Tell you what, Brandon. Why don't you the next time there's like an ICE protest, be with the supporters. Take your black ass on the Trump side of the people supporting ICE, and they will tar and feather your black ass. And I can't save you because I'm not jumping in a group of Trumpers to save you. You made that choice. The parallel that I made between the Japanese being allied with Adolf Hitler, because we know what Hitler's stance was on non-Aryan, non-blonde-haired, non-blue-eyed. He tried to create a perfect race of people, of white people. Adolf Hitler didn't like black people. He didn't like Jewish people. He didn't like gay people. He didn't like intellectuals, and he certainly didn't like anybody who was of any kind of Asian descent. And knowing that, the Japanese still allied this, because the Japanese thought like, oh, well, we'll fight with Hitler, and Hitler he'll control this part of the world, and then us Japanese people will control this part of the world. No, Adolf Hitler probably would have invaded Japan at some point too. And so, and I'm not trying to tell black Trump supporters what to do, because clearly they don't listen to me. But they use you, and they paint some kind of fantasy of how horrible your life is because of Democrats, when our lives, if you think our lives are horrible, personally, I don't think the black folks have it that bad, but whatever, I'm fine. Some of you guys are fine too. But it's not because of a political party, it is because of racism, and racism exists everywhere. But what those that uphold the good, decent righteousness of white supremacy are telling black people, like, hey, blacks, your life sucks and you're poor and you're underemployed and your kids can't read, can't do math because of the Democrats. Because, oh, look around your whole community. It's nothing but Democrats in elected office. But those are also the same kind of people that think that this Republican Party is the party of Lincoln, the one that actually freed the slaves. It is not. So people have these gaping holes in history when they try and interpret what is going on right now politically. So it is the fault of racism. And so what happens is you have a Democratic Party that has fought tooth and nail for marginalized people. And I can give you all the details of the policies and all the bills and all the executive orders, whether it be Kennedy signing affirmative action as an executive order in 1961, or Lyndon Baines Johnson signing fair housing, fair employment, voting rights acts. I can give you all that stuff. But to some people that don't know history, or also look at how poorly our MPS students are doing. And that poor performance goes back. And now it's evident in dumb adults. So there's a connection here. People that have lower levels of education are much more likely to be a Republican or a conservative, and that's not a slight. That's fact. The more educated you are, the higher your highest level of education completed, the more likely you are to be a Democrat. That's why Republicans have a whole war on colleges and institutions of higher education. That's why Ronald Reagan stopped using subsidies to fund the University of California college system. Oh, if you're going to go to college, you're going to have to pay for it, because Ronald Reagan admitted this in the 60s. Colleges churn out liberals. Look at all the Vietnam War protests that took place on college campuses. Let me give you another example, because I feel like providing examples today because we need more of them. The U.S. government has used its power on a number of occasions to kill all sorts of white people. This is not new. It just isn't really talked about, because when white people get killed by the government, well, what were the white people doing to get themselves killed by the government? You should have been following rules. White folks in this country are much more akin to follow rules and order to maintain their solid stance of supremacy. Like, black folks have to break the rules, because our very existence, especially in certain places and spaces, is rule breaking by nature. So we don't have to be sycophants to this administration. How are we going to be in a country as black people, just a little bit of a sidebar here, where they say all men are created equal, but we were enslaved. So this country does not mean the same thing to us that it means to them. We have to fight and push and march and protest and die a little bit and go to jail a little bit to be recognized as human, where white folks don't have to do that. They have to maintain this system. We as black folks are trying to pierce through it. Really big difference. So when white folks get killed by law enforcement, it's just like, well, they're not maintaining the order. Renee Good, you were fighting for the wrong people, Renee Good. You should have gotten murdered. You too, Alex Pretty, you should have been murdered. You were trying to save women. Screw those women. We took away their reproductive rights, and we should probably take away their right to vote as well. So if you're going to be defending women, Alex Pretty, we're going to murder you too. Because remember, the Department of Homeland Security is using a white nationalist anthem and theme song to recruit new members. So you know what their whole perspective is. But the government has used its power to kill white people Like all the time. 1970, Kent State in Ohio. A bunch of kids saying we don't want to go to the Vietnam War. Vietnam War is bad. And it was a very bad war, and we lost the Vietnam War a lot. Like, we lost real bad. It wasn't a good war for the United States. We haven't been on a good winning streak for war. The only time the United States really won a war, like a war of significance, is when we used an atomic bomb. Like, that's how far we got to go to win. And, side note on that, we should have dropped the atomic bomb on Germany, not on Japan. But, you know, you don't want to drop it on Germany. Even though they were Nazis and they were executing Jews, they're still white people. So we can't drop the bomb on Germany. Maybe those white people can be redeemed. Let's drop it on the Japanese. So Kent State, 1970, National Guard troops under the advisement of, must have been Richard Nixon, opened fire and killed 4 college students. All of them were white. Then if you go back to, this must have been during Herbert Hoover's presidency. So stock market crashes in 1929. FDR gets elected in 1932. So probably somewhere around 1930 or 1931. World War I veterans. Now, remember, the U.S. military back then was way crazy segregated, right? Big time segregated. So there was a march on Washington in 1930 or 1931 where veterans of World War I were mad that they weren't getting compensated fairly because of their participation in the war, like their pensions were being suspended, and they wanted advance payment of their pensions, because I don't know if people nowadays really appreciate how bad the Great Depression was. Like 25% of the country was out of work, and those that were underemployed was probably exceeding 50 or 60%. So the World War I veterans were like, yo, you federal government owe us money. And so there was a march on Washington by white U.S. World War I veterans, and they planned to stay in Washington, D.C. until they got payment and advance payment of what they were due for their participation in World War I. You know what federal troops did? Because the veterans that came to protest, they're like, we're not going anywhere. They built like huts and shanties, and they had tents because they were going to stay. These veterans were going to stay in Washington, D.C. until they got what they thought was their just due. Now, remember, the Great Depression made people do some really crazy things, including U.S. veterans camping out in front of the White House and in Washington, D.C. You know what federal troops did? Burned down their tents. They burned them down. So our government using force against all people, not just black people, not just brown people, there's nothing new about that. Now, here's the moral of the story and the silver lining. The American people always win, but this country is 3 steps forward, 2.9 steps back. So eventually, the good people, those that believe in strong democratic institutions and believe in the rule of law, will prevail. But I assure you, the other side, the dark side, the sinister side, they're not gonna quit. They will come back. So whatever progress we make, just know that they're going to want to make progress too. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Breaking down the issues that shape our city and our future.
Another function of white supremacy, don't teach black people stuff, because if you give us a little bit of knowledge, we'll invent something totally new. That's why it was illegal to teach slaves to read, because if we could read, then we could write. And if we could write, we could communicate. And if we could communicate, we could plan. And if we could plan, we could strategize. And if we can plan and write and read and communicate and strategize, we could overthrow white supremacy, because they've always known how fragile it is.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 to noon. In a matchup fueled by speed, strength, and school pride. On Wednesday night, get ready for a city conference battle as the Bradley Tech Trojans take on the South Division Cardinals in a matchup fueled by speed, strength, and school pride. Big plays, loud crowds, and city conference bragging rights are on the line. Tip-off is set for 7 o'clock.
Since 1976, Community Advocates has helped Milwaukee residents meet their basic needs, enabling them to live with dignity and hope. Today, Community Advocates offer 40 specialized programs that addresses rental housing challenges, energy assistance, domestic violence, substance misuse, and more. Their commitment is to ensure individuals and families have access to essential resources and opportunities for a better quality of life. If you need help, go to communityadvocates.net. That's communityadvocates.net.
Elevate your game day gear or any outfit with official merchandise from the Milwaukee Bucks Pro Shop. From authentic jerseys to exclusive apparel and accessories, the Bucks Pro Shop has everything you need to showcase your fandom wherever you go. Cheer the deer to victory with authentic Milwaukee Bucks items. Visit us at the Bucks Pro Shop at Fiserv Forum or Bayshore Mall, or shop online at shop.bucks.com.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Lawyers for Minnesota are still in court asking a judge to stop the surge of ICE agents in Minneapolis. Judge Kate Menendez is pressing those attorneys to explain how she could decide on such a broad request. The New York Times just noted, quote, "It seems that part of the solution for this set of wrongs that you describe is to bring cases about those wrongs," Menendez said, rather than to say all of these things together means the federal government has to leave the state of Minnesota. Donald Trump's decision to send border czar Tom Homan to Minneapolis will only heighten chaos in the city. A local official told CNN Minneapolis City Council member Soren Stevenson said Homan's deployment is, quote, further escalating tensions. They know that they are in a bad spot. This is Minnesota. What are you talking about? A lawless, crazy place? This is Minnesota. This is a beautiful place, a wonderful place. And they're losing this narrative battle, Stevenson said Monday on CNN's News Central. And so he's sending his top guard, and really it's escalating because we just want to be left alone. Just leave us alone. Talk about a perfect sentiment. My goodness, if that's not the most poignant sentiment. Leave them alone. I feel that way too. People always messing with Sherwin. Leave Sherwin alone. You know what I mean? I got into it with somebody on the Facebook yesterday. Who knows what I was saying, but he said, well, you black people kill a lot of white people. I'm like, no, we don't. Not on purpose. We don't, you black people are way more violent. You blacks are violent. Yeah, but we learn from the best though. You know what I'm saying? Like, just leave me alone. Quote, we don't have this big law and order problem. This is a great place to live. The chaos in our community is coming from ICE. And they're justified in saying that. This Minneapolis official is justified in saying that, because when I heard this statistic, and there's a bunch of numbers that are just shocking. The Minneapolis sworn police force is 600 officers. There's 3,000 ICE agents in the city of Minneapolis. So, and all of them outrank local law enforcement. And they've even been pulling over members of local law enforcement and detaining them, however briefly. But imagine being a cop and then being treated like you're not one. That's humbling, ain't it? That's some good police training. So maybe those local law enforcement officers will be, a little more understanding when they're pulling over individuals of the public in Minneapolis. But then the other one was Minneapolis has only had 3 homicides to date. I'm thinking to myself, how is that possible? I mean, Milwaukee will have 3 homicides on like a Good Friday, a good Saturday night. We'll have 3 homicides. So they've only had 3 homicides in the first 26 days of January so far this year. I'm like, oh, that's a really low number. Then when I found out that 2 of the 3 homicides in Minneapolis were committed by ICE, I'm like, oh, well, ICE clearly is doing the 66% of the murdering. Now, I know what some of you were thinking, especially those of you that live in the city of Milwaukee, because Minneapolis is close. In fact, it's the next biggest city in the state just to our immediate west. You're probably thinking, uh-oh, ICE is going to come here, and they're going to do all sorts of bad things here. So I would pause on that assumption. We still have a hurdle to cross, which is the next government shutdown, because I don't believe that the Democrats and some Republicans are going to agree to continue ICE funding, because if ICE's funding gets cut, and Congress has the ability to do that, they will not be able to maintain their troop levels, not just in Minnesota, but anywhere. So I don't think that on the other side of this, because this killing of Alex Pretty, even some Republicans, conservative Republicans in the U.S. Senate, are like, yo, this is a bridge too far. And Republicans, I have an article here somewhere. My screen has got so many damn open tabs on it, y'all. It looks like it's a dictionary worth of tabs here I got open. But there are Republicans who are calling for a piece of legislation to preserve all of the evidence in the Alex Pretty shooting, which goes counter and contrary to Donald Trump's sentiments. So there's some Republican legislative support for toning ICE down, because none of these Republicans, assuming we're allowed to have a fair election in November, if you're a pro-Trump Republican, it's going to be real hard to get reelected, especially if you live in a swing district. So the Republicans are going to have to start coming back to the middle. And when I say the middle, I'm talking common sense, and start legislating things that will show the American people that Congress is an institution that is worthy of being a co-equal branch of government. So there's that. But I think that Milwaukee is cooperating with the administration. I got a story here. I don't know. Maybe I'm inundated with conspiracy. But I think that we are cooperating with the federal law enforcement. And if we cooperate with them, they are less likely to be heavy-handed. I really have a sneaking suspicion that they are making requests, the federal government, the FBI in particular. Don't worry, I got a story here. And I'm going to let you guys come to your own conclusion about the story. But if we are, because the Trump administration wants cooperation. And part of the reason why they're so heavy-handed in Minnesota, first of all, they were investigating welfare fraud that they thought was being committed by the Somalians. Turned out it was a white lady that was doing it. How ironic is that? When has that ever happened before? When black people are accused of some major scandalous crime and it's actually a white person behind it? You guys remember Jesse Anderson in 1995 when he went to TGI Fridays at our beloved Northridge Mall and murdered his wife and said it was a black kid that did it? It wasn't me. Never mind this blood on my shirt. A black, and we believed him. And then everybody stopped going to Northridge. Like, oh no, there's a black kid killer, murdering black kid that killed Jesse Anderson's wife. Jesse Anderson murdered his own wife. And the truth came out, he got life in prison. Guess where Jesse Anderson is now? Pushing up daisies because he got murdered in prison. Him and Jeffrey Dahmer actually got murdered in prison. That was an interesting story because by accident, both Jesse, it's not funny. Look, it's ironic. I laugh at irony, not the humor of the situation. Because when somebody gets murdered in prison, that isn't nice. It's horrible. That's not a nice thing. But by accident, Jesse Anderson, who blamed a black teenager on murdering his wife when he did it. Like, if you're going to murder your wife, white people, don't put us in it. Leave us out of it. Just leave us alone. Like they're saying in Minnesota, leave us alone. But Jesse Anderson and Jeffrey Dahmer, got released into Gen Pop by accident. Like, uh-oh. Because those guys were never, Jesse Anderson and Jeffrey Dahmer, they were in the same prison, which is weird. They were never supposed to be just released into the general population of the prison, but then, oopsie-daisy, they got released. And then they died very violently, which is, it's not good to do that. But I think that we are cooperating with the administration. So our incestuous relationship with Israel. Here, the United States, Benjamin Netanyahu, Donald Trump, we are funding Israel and we are funding the murder of Palestinian children and the starvation of Palestinian children. It reminds me very much of a genocide, but I guess I'm not supposed to say that word. That's what it reminds me of, and this is just Sherwin Hughes' opinion, okay? Well, we come to find something out that is very, very disturbing about our police chief, which suggests to me that we are cooperating with a Trump administration directive. The story is brought to you by Urban Milwaukee. Milwaukee Police Chief Jeff Norman encountered substantial community opposition Thursday night for taking a week-long anti-terrorism trip to Israel. The normally brief public comment period at the start of the Fire and Police Commission lasted for 3 whole hours. Commenters' concerns included fears about U.S. immigration and customs enforcement agents deploying en masse in Milwaukee, high-speed chases harming bystanders, and facial recognition technology. But most of the comments centered on the immoral and unethical behavior Norman is alleged to have engaged in by attending a 2025 training with the Jewish Institute for National Security of America. Oh, wait, what? Well, hold on. Just everybody relax for a second, but just let's put on our thinking caps. Let's think this thing through. Why is a Milwaukee police chief going to Israel to be trained with the Jewish Institute for National Security of America? Why does our Milwaukee police chief, we ain't even a big city. We're only 590,000 people. So why is our chief getting trained by Israeli special forces? Norman, as featured on the JINSA website, which I'm assuming stands for Jewish Institute for National Security of America. Norman is featured on the JINSA website attending the training with FBI members, 2 sheriffs, and chiefs of Nashville and Albany police forces. See, I bet you these cities, the sheriffs and the chiefs of Nashville and Albany, are agreeing to cooperate with the Trump administration. One of the reasons why the Trump administration is so heavy-handed in sending the ICE agents to Minnesota is because Donald Trump didn't win Minnesota. Tim Walz, the governor, was the vice presidential nominee for the Democrats, so he ran against Donald Trump. And they're not cooperating. Minnesota refuses to cooperate with Donald Trump's immigration and customs enforcement agents, so they're sending an overabundance of agents, and they are killing people. The ICE agents are. 2/3 of the homicides that have taken place in Minneapolis have been committed by ICE agents. But if you agree to cooperate, because all the Trump administration said, Kristi Noem has said it, Donald Trump has said it, just cooperate with it. J.D. Vance is saying it every time he gets in front of a hot mic. We just want cooperation. It looks to me like the city of Milwaukee, at the request of the FBI, that's led by Kash Patel, who's a nut job, sent our police chief, 2 sheriffs, and the chiefs of Nashville and Albany police forces to Israel. And it's interesting, why those law enforcement agents? I could see if you're doing a whole nationwide police chief training, then send them all to Israel. But why Jeff Norman, 2 sheriffs, and the chiefs of Nashville and Albany? Because I believe that those cities specifically are agreeing to cooperate with the Trump administration. But here's what I think is ugly about it. They're probably saying, hey, Cavalier Johnson, hey, Milwaukee Fire and Police Commission, we won't send ICE to your city, because Trump can be like, look what we're doing in Minneapolis. You don't want that. It's very bad for you. You don't want me to send my people to Milwaukee. The ICE agents will eat all of the cheese curds and drink all of the beer. Just cooperate with us. Let us send Jeff Norman to Israel to get trained. What, by Israeli special forces? Like, what are you planning on doing? The program is described as, quote, best practices exchange between Israeli counterterrorism practitioners and U.S. law enforcement. Why are we collaborating with Israel? Why? Why are we sending our chief? If anything, I would expect the Israeli folks to come to the United States to get trained, but we sent our chief over there? Now, the other big question was, did we, the taxpayers, pay for the Chief Norman's junket to get trained by Israeli special forces? I don't think that we paid for it. I think the federal government and the FBI footed the bill. They said, look, if you guys agree to send your chief, this is what Kash Patel and other folks in the Trump-controlled FBI said, look, we'll pay for it, but we want to see cooperation from the city of Milwaukee. If you don't cooperate with us by allowing us to take your chief and train him in Israeli counterterrorism, then we're going to send ICE to your city. And they said, well, hell, it's probably better off. We're better off if we send the chief. But I don't know what our police chief is going to be armed with after that training, because I know what is happening in Gaza, and I'm sickened by it. I'm sickened that the world is not saying more, that the world is not doing more. In fact, if you are a pro-Palestinian human being, you're looked at as some kind of offshoot or some kind of weirdo. I don't see it that way, because we as black folks are basically the same as the Palestinian people. Those are our people. Those are our children on their rightful homeland. Do a DNA test, and you'll find that most of those people over in Israel are from Europe. They have no ancestral connection to that land. Don't blame me. Get a DNA test. Oh, I'm sorry, they're illegal in Israel. Can't get them, because it'll show that they're European. Quote, I think if nothing else, it was poor judgment, said activist Brian Verdeen. The chief said Verdeen should have known the training would engender criticism, given how many marches have taken place in support of the Palestinian people. Quote, you should have known a whole lot of us are opposed to the genocide taking place. Activist Ron Jansen called Norman a fascist and a coward and gave the most testimony at the meeting. Quote, in the middle of an effing genocide, he went to go visit the Zionist entity of Israel, said Jansen, while Norman sat silently in the front row. Why are we sending our Milwaukee police chief over to Israel to get trained at the bequest of the FBI headed by Kash Patel? You just got to wonder now, but I think that there was a compromise. Send your police chief over to Israel, and we won't send as many ICE agents to Milwaukee. Commissioner Jeff Spence interrupted, saying Jansen didn't have the right to come here and just demean people. Chair Miriam Horowitz, a former deputy city attorney, said Jansen shouldn't swear or use overly inflammatory rhetoric. You know what? He's got freedom of speech. Now, I'll be damned if Milwaukee officials are trying to stifle people's speech. We don't do that here, Miriam. We don't do that here. I could do a whole show on Jeff Spence, but I'm going to spare him today. Why don't we do this? Let's take a break, come back, continue our conversation. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back shortly.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey y'all, it's 1017 The Truth's Rhea Riley for Sweet Talks Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. Skip the sterile clinical office feel. Sweet Talk stays on the cutting edge of beauty and wellness innovations in a vibrant, playful space, promoting self-love and confidence. Sweet Talk specializes in a range of treatments, including injectables, medical-grade skincare, weight loss, hormone therapies, and more. Not sure where to start? Sweet Talks offers comprehensive wellness consultations to create a customized plan centered around you. Because at Sweet Talks, your goals are their goals. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
I slept in a lot of different rooms, different beds, but none of them really felt like mine. I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in group homes. And I never had much stuff because I always had to be ready to move. Why get things if you just have to let them go?
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a forever family and a permanent home of their own.
Now I have my own room with walls that tell my story. I love hanging out in here. I play dress up with my sisters and I sing and make videos. But the best part, knowing I'll always have a place to go and a family that loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We have a telephone number here that you can call, text, call and text. 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Let's talk to Al. Hi, Al. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and good morning to all of you. I'm kind of confused with this Jeffrey Norman thing because the Jews over there don't even like people like that. So I don't even understand why would he be going over there. And then everybody know that Israel has been the disease and the virus to America issues. But then again, Jeff Norman don't really got balls like that to say anything. He kind of gives me the house Negro who want to look good for the plantation owner. So I just say to all of you, be very, 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 very careful with that's going on. Because the last time I checked, them Jews over there look at us as animals, and they're not speaking out. And guess, no black issues while they're laughing all the way to the bank.
But Al, they can still hate black people, but still want to train a black cop to fight their fight for them. Right? So it don't matter that Jeff Norman is black. If he's agreeing with like their political philosophy and their wartime philosophy, that they don't care if he's black because he's an ally with them. Or so it would seem.
Yeah, and they're probably going to cut him a check, too. But remember, Mr. Hughes, they like them kind of blacks. They don't like them other kind of blacks who say, I don't like your kind, I don't like what you represent. And you call them on their stuff. So they got to pull in them kind that they can control. He probably come back with some bigger glasses with that real stern Grace Jones face hair look. Because keep in mind, he didn't want to be around us. He wanted to go to San Antonio, and San Antonio said, we don't want your black ass here, and he came back to Milwaukee. Y'all have yourself a good day and happy Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Al is right. Jeff did, Chief Norman, let me be respectful. He did enter into a national police chief search in San Antonio. He was rejected. We also had a national police chief search here, but some controversy took place where we were taking too long here, and the other candidates that we had, because we had police chiefs, they were applying from all over the country, and because our fire and police commission was taking so long, those chiefs that we had as our finalists took jobs in other places because Milwaukee was dragging his feet, and then we ultimately settled with Jeff Norman. So I think Jeff Norman didn't even make the cut. There were 7 chiefs. You guys remember this? It was happening during COVID. So we had 7 finalists. Jeff Norman, whatever position he had with the Milwaukee Police Department, was because Alfonso Morales was chief, and then he turned into a Trumper and then left. And then was Jeff Norman the acting chief? I can't remember specifically. But there was a narrowing down of 7 finalists for the next police chief of Milwaukee. And if I'm not mistaken, Jeff Norman didn't even make the 7. Then we narrowed it down to like 2 or 3, and then we were dragging our feet so long. The Fire and Police Commission were dragging their feet so long. Those chiefs that were waiting to hear if they had been hired in Milwaukee, took jobs with other law enforcement agencies, and then they just decided on Jeff Norman. Case in point, and a little bit of additional history for you. There was a period of time where Jeff Norman didn't even want to be a Milwaukee cop anymore. Now, maybe he had an about face and he rekindled his love with MPD. I can't speak for what was in his mind, but Jeff Norman ran for judge twice to not be a cop anymore. He ran for municipal judge against Phil Chavez in 06. He lost. Then there was an election almost immediately after the municipal court. Phil Chavez is still on the municipal court, by the way, because that's a good gig. If you get a gig as an elected judge in the city of Milwaukee, you can stay there forever. I sometimes think that judges don't wear any underwear under their robes. I bet you they do. How would you know? You have no idea what they wore under their robes. You don't want to know what I'd wear if I was a judge. I'd walk into court and be like, I feel free today. All rise! I've already risen. So, could you imagine a male judge pitching a tent in that robe? Just be like, I love judging so much.
What do you mean by that?
You know exactly what I mean by that. Like, I love judging. So judgmental. So he runs for municipal court judge. All this is public. I'm not telling you information that you don't already know. And some of you guys, you voted for Jeff Norman as judge. He didn't win, though. And then he turned around. So he lost the municipal court race. And then he turned around and ran against a woman by the name of Rebecca Dallett for Milwaukee County Circuit Court. He lost that one, too. And Rebecca Dallett, as some of you may know, is now on the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. So there was a period of time in 05, 06 where Jeff Norman was like, I'm done being a cop. He also got his law degree while he was a Milwaukee police officer. So he was in law school, I believe, in Marquette. And we, the taxpayers, paid for him to become a lawyer. So he got his law degree, and he's like, screw this cop stuff. I want to be a judge. But he ran for judge municipally and then countywide. And then he lost both of those. And I guess he was like, screw it. I might as well just be a cop. And then now he's police chief, and he went over to Israel to get trained. And I think that was a collaboration and cooperation with the Trump administration, because it was only him, 2 sheriffs, and then the chief from Nashville and Albany that went to this specialized training in Israel. And why our chief? You know what I mean? Why our chief? Why? I know who we should have sent over to Israel to get trained. Hi, Bob.
Hello, Sherwin. It takes a little courage to do what you do. It really does. How can you be in the middle, like a lot of black people are, between Republicans and Democrats?
How am I in the middle? Thought I was pretty firmly on one side. Oh, okay.
Exactly. Now, how can someone be in the middle when you got to pick between George Wallace and whomever was president? A Democrat. And the thing, what trips me out is you do a little comedy. When I hear Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson and all them guys in the old times, they were serious. And a joke came up once in a while. But you be able to put a little comedy in the fact of having courage in what you do. And so that I got to give you credit when it's due, And don't forget to put that thing around your neck.
What the hell?
It's not you should put it around your neck. You want to put it around your neck.
Bob, the only thing I want to put around the neck is my hand around yours. What are you talking about?
You know that, and then when you take a shower, are you still there?
No, I'm not here. What?
No, and you when you take a shower, put it on the faucet, and then when you get out of the shower, put it back around.
What are you talking about?
The thing that you push, and I've seen you have that, that attack on the air. Do that, put that thing around your neck. You know what I mean? You need to do that.
Wait, Andrew just said you're talking about a life alert.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that.
Clearly. The reason why I fell out on the air, Bob, is because talking to people like you. Like, you are worse. We had a black guy call in earlier, a black Trump supporter. He don't stress me out as much as you do because, Bob, you go, like, deep in the recesses of your mind and talk about stuff that only makes sense to you. But what we want you to know is when you try to explain that stuff on the air, it doesn't make sense to anybody. So I have people that are listening to this show from all over, and they're trying to figure out what you're saying, because if I don't know what the hell you're talking about, then they don't know what the hell you're talking about. And then guess what? Right, people stop listening because they don't know what you're saying.
Okay, now they'll know what I'm talking about right now, and then I'm going to let you go. Yeah, when Obama when they talked about when they talked about his birth certificate.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh. Okay, they started talking about his birth.
That ICE agents murdered a man in Minneapolis. Did you hear anything about that?
Oh, no, man. That's where I'm proud of you. You bring that up. Man,
but maybe you should bring it up, too, because then that keeps you on topic. You talking about me getting the damn life alert and Barack Obama's birth certificate and Martin Luther King not having a sense of humor. First of all, Martin Luther King was a very jovial man, and he joked all of the time. He was a very funny guy. Those people that were closest to him knew how funny of a fella he was. He was not serious all the time. He also knew that he was going to die, which also provided him with moments of levity. Like, listen to this.
Out of Washington this afternoon, and as soon as we started out, they notified us that the plane had mechanical difficulties, and that kept us on the ground a good while. And finally, we took off and landed, and whenever I land after mechanical difficulties, I'm always very happy. Now, I don't want to give you an impression that as a Baptist preacher, I don't have faith in God in the air. It's simply that I've had more experience with him on the ground.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Truth Nation is the best fan base in the country.
Been listening to you guys for probably a month. It's some change now, and this is one of my favorite radio shows. And I'm 24, so I used to think talk shows was like an old head thing, and y'all got me hooked.
Welcome to Truth Nation. We want you to tap into the talk and text line every show, every day at 833-212-1017. Milwaukee Black Talk, 101.7 The Truth.
Every child deserves a school that sees their brilliance. At Milwaukee College Prep, they believe in high expectations, strong character, and academic excellence starting as early as age of 3. MCP scholars continue to outperform their peers across Milwaukee. And the best part about it all, Milwaukee College Prep is tuition free. If you're looking for a school that partners with you, challenges your child, and prepares them for college and beyond, Milwaukee College Prep is the place. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to learn more. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
Life isn't a single moment. It's a shared ribbon that bends through the years. It binds us to the things and people we love most. One insurance company knows this because they live it. For 100 years, we've been with your family for the moments that matter most. Erie Insurance.
Find a local agent at erieinsurance.com.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
After a crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the knowledge and experience to make sure you're protected. And we're here to help whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At 11 o'clock, we're going to have a much-needed conversation about Joe Baratta and the properties that he owns in the city of Milwaukee. So those of you that are connected to the Hughes Views Facebook group, that, of course, is the Facebook group that corresponds with this show. And I'll post the stories and the links that we discuss on this program in that group so you guys can peruse the information at your leisure. But we have been hearing about a number of complaints of properties that are owned by Joe Baratta. The heat going out, and there was one vehicle that had like a water main break or something was happening where there was a vehicle totally encased in ice and the vehicle owner couldn't move their vehicle. And just we hear about all sorts of really horrible complaints and living conditions in the Joe Baratta properties. And I posted a common sense and logical statement that turned out to be so controversial that I had to remove people from the group. Now, there's something that I sometimes forget, and we're going to go into deep detail during the 11 o'clock hour because I think it goes fundamentally to one of the prevailing issues that is impacting the black community negatively. We don't think that we deserve better, and I want to have a conversation about that. Now, we can be distracted by ICE and be distracted by Donald Trump, but at the end of the day, we still have things we got to take care of right here at home, and this is where my loyalties are. I got to make sure that Milwaukee is a reasonable place and a decent place and a safe place and a livable place, and to make sure that our people have opportunity and have hope and jobs and money, and some of you can have sex. Whatever it is you want to do, I want to make sure that Milwaukee is getting its due first. Okay? I posted something that was, I thought, objective and logical, but people will respond to stuff emotionally. Because I remember posting what I said in the Hughes Views Facebook group, and then all these people just blew. Women, it was women. 99% were women that got very mad, and they responded emotionally. And I said to one of the ladies, as respectfully as I could, because she was not very nice to me, because she, again, was responding emotionally, not to any kind of logical, analytical fact. And I basically posted numbers that refuted her understanding of the situation of the number of rental properties that exist in the city of Milwaukee and the number of rental properties owned or under control or management of Joe Baratta. You know what she said to me? I don't care what the truth is. This is how I feel. Bye. Blocked. Get out of the group. You can't disregard the facts because you feel a certain way. Facts don't care how you feel, and I can't interact with people like that because it's a touchy subject, you know, rental properties being in disrepair. But I simply said, if you don't like renting from Joe Baratta, buy a house. And the number of people that got angry with me, like they think that by God, they have to live in a Joe Baratta property because they simply could never own a home. They could never, so they must live in squalor because, I don't know, that's all they're capable of. And it's crazy because I know my people real good. I do. Some people will sit here and tell you directly to your face they don't want to own a house because they don't want to cut the grass and shovel the snow. What? Because you don't want to perform those two labors of pride You don't want to own a house? And I'm thinking to myself, then what kind of effort are you putting into raising your kids? That's number one. Number two, black people want the best of everything. We want to look the best. We want to dress the best. We want to take the best vacations. We want to go to the best restaurants. But when it comes to having a stable home where you can raise your children and live and build equity, how dare you suggest we do something like that, Sherwin? I've had a number of conversations on this radio show about building affordable housing that's clean and that is safe. Many, many times. The overwhelming majority of people that participate and that listen to this program that live in the city of Milwaukee, that are taxpayers and sometimes property taxpayers in the city of Milwaukee, whenever I bring it up, the number of people that do not want to build affordable housing with their tax dollars is staggering. So there are black people that do not care about other black people living in unsafe housing, which always blows my mind because when it comes to lower income people, black folks are the most bigoted. And it hurts my feelings because there's a lot of folks who not too long ago, they were in the rungs of those that were considered low income. And so instead of being able to relate to people that are also low income, a lot of times black folks, when they get a level of success, they divorce themselves from poverty. But it's interesting, though, because white people do that stuff, too. Wealthy white people hate poor white folks. They hate them. And they're only a generation sometimes removed from poverty themselves, or they grew up in poverty, and they want to divorce every part of themselves that used to be poor. And black folks are the exact same way. So just know, those of you that are living in Barada properties that are unsafe, there's code violations and the heat doesn't work and there's rodent infestations, just know that when I ask our community, should you, those that live in these dilapidated properties that are not well maintained, should we build affordable and safe housing for you? Your own community says no, and that's exactly where you deserve to live. And so I'm saying, look, I want people to take a level of responsibility for their living conditions because black people can afford anything we want, but for some reason, we're allergic to home ownership. I've been partnered with Axe Housing for 5 years, and I'm so proud of the work that we have done, but we've got so much more to go. Instead of complaining about someone that you call a slumlord, move out of his property. And then you got people saying, well, he owns all the rental property in the city of Milwaukee. Not even remotely close. Don't worry, I'm going to give you the details coming up in hour 3. What year is this, 2026? Oh, these years are getting away from me. It must have been 2023 or 2024. I think Rhea was my producer, so it was 2023. We had residents who live in city of Milwaukee-owned properties. They had rodent infestations and roach infestations and bedbug infestations, and their heat wasn't working, and their walls and ceilings were falling down. And those are city of Milwaukee-owned properties. And if the city of Milwaukee is not inspecting and repairing and doing maintenance on this property, what the hell you think they're going to do with Joe Barada, who's a private owner? But then to mitigate people complaining about poor living conditions, I suggest buy a house. And people talked about me like I'm the enemy. Joe Barada is not going to build beautiful mansions and monuments for his renters. He's just not. So you can continue to complain about it and get angry about it, or you can take a level of responsibility and get your ass the hell out of there and own a home and have some equity and be rich. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
On Saturday afternoon, the Milwaukee Panthers continue their road trip as they travel to Ohio to take on the Youngstown State Penguins.
Shows it, drives, drop it off for Big Frank inside, and Aaron scores. 12 points and 10 rebounds for Aaron Franklin. Corner, Aguilar for the tie, book it!
Scott Warris has the coverage Saturday starting at 12:30 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 1 o'clock. Milwaukee Black Talk.
You don't want to be there. You don't like the work. You don't like the people. Now, there are some differences. The only difference is modern American slavery and capitalism versus 19th century. We were dramatically more primitive back then. And a slave that is able to buy their freedom is the same as the disaffected, disgruntled worker that is able to buy their way into entrepreneurship because that for them is freedom.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday Counts study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis. Diesel-burning trucks belch dangerous levels of pollution, and communities living near ports and along freight corridors breathe especially high levels of this dirty air. But this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. I'm working to clean up our air quality, particularly for communities that bear the burden of diesel pollution. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
Join the movement. Listen to the Tori Lowe Show on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, the locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment.
Whose show is that? Kyle?
That's Kyle's thing. I don't know why.
Oh, he got a good intro. I'll give him that. That's a hot little intro. We can play other people. I don't care, actually. Actually spices my show up a little bit.
No, Rhea must have thought that was the 12 o'clock hour because the next liner is for Kyle. So,
from the Barada Properties website. Family owned and operated, Barada Properties has more than 20 years of property management experience. Beginning in 1996 with just one 8-unit building, the company has grown into one of the city's largest property management companies with properties throughout the greater Milwaukee and Racine. Yuck. Barada Properties is committed to addressing the Central City housing crisis by providing access to affordable, quality housing that is well maintained and working proactively with tenants to strengthen relationships between tenants and landlords, creating greater stability in the housing market. That was directly from the Barada Properties website. From the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, dated February 21, 2025. Current and former tenants of Milwaukee's landlord Yusef Joe Barada companies wondering how they may be impacted by the state's recent settlement of a suit against the rental kingpin can find answers on a website launched by the state of Wisconsin. The Frequently Asked Questions page, created by the Department of Justice and Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection, can be found at datcp.wi.gov. The page includes answers to questions including how rent assistance and how the eviction diversion program actually works. The state settled its 2021 lawsuit against Barada and his companies in December of last year, when Barada agreed to pay $1.7 million and take out several other actions, including creating a $1.3 million account to pay rent assistance. The suit charged that Barada and his companies routinely trampled on the rights of tenants through varieties of actions, including confiscating renters' property and illegally forcing some out of their rental units. This resolution of this case establishes programs that will provide support to many Barada Properties tenants. According to Attorney General Josh Call, he said that in a statement. Barada is Milwaukee's largest landlord. The state has said Barada controls more than 200 limited liability companies, which combined own more than 9,000 rental units in Milwaukee and Racine. So somebody in the Hughes Views group is like, he owns all of the property in the city. Not even close. He doesn't even own 10%. Now, I'm not going to get into the reasons why someone may have signed a lease with Joe Barada, but there were far too many people that didn't listen to the facts. And the fact of the matter is, he does not own the majority of property in the city. But people, for some reason, are attracted to properties that he owns, and then they get angry when the properties are not very well maintained and they're getting evicted when they shouldn't. And so I simply suggested, if you don't like that, buy a house. And it's like, when I tell black people to actually purchase a home, purchase some real estate, like they look at that as an attack, which makes no sense to me, because I literally watch my community buy whatever it wants whenever it wants it, because we as black people, we believe we deserve the best of everything, and we get the best of everything. If we decide that we want something, we get it. But if I tell black folks to buy a house, here I get hit with excuses. Well, Sherwin, I don't want to shovel the snow. Wait, what? So you would rather live in a property that is literally falling down, ceiling collapsing, water not working, water mains breaking, flooded apartment, encapsulated in ice, it's below zero, and the heat's not working? So you would rather pay rent there, more in rent than you would pay in a mortgage, not to mention you're gaining no equity, you have no asset whatsoever. You own a house, the value of your house goes up every single year. If you get into a pinch, you get into a bind, you get into debt, you can borrow money against the value of your house, pay off your debt, start a business, send your kids to college, but for some reason, shoveling snow was preventing us from having all of that opportunity. So it's really tough for me to have sympathy for someone to say, I don't want to cut the grass. Wait, what? But you'd rather live with roaches? Well, at least I don't cut to cut the grass. Cut the grass. You know how small lots are in the city? My lot is so small. If I start cutting my grass at 1:15 in the afternoon on a Saturday, right? I start cutting my grass at 1:15. I'm done at 1:05. It takes negative 10 minutes to cut my grass. Now, shoveling the snow sucks. It snowed pretty much every day for the last week. But at the end of the day, I don't have to complain to a manager, an apartment manager, or a building superintendent. I don't have to leave a message with somebody who probably will never check it because something went wrong with my house. I was just shocked at the number of people that feel enslaved to renting to Joe Barada. Now, one of the other things, though, is if you're paying however much money in rent, you may not have a lot of money for down payments. And I guess if you're limited in your knowledge about all of the money that's available to you, there's so many grants. There's so many forgivable loans. There's so many down payment assistance programs for first-time home buyers. In some cases, some of these nonprofits and these organizations are giving houses away to people. But we shy away from that responsibility, and it's killing us. And then we get mad when Joe Barada is not treating us fairly. So let me just get to some numbers here, since people don't like math. But see, this is also what hurts our community. When we see the math scores coming out of MPS, let's go ahead and assume that those low-performing math students ultimately become adults that are not functionally literate when it comes to math. Let's talk to Julius. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Sherwin.
Hi.
Hi, all right, well, you just have two subjects. I was discussed the Barada properties. I mean, the majority of the property. I heard some woman yesterday said he collects, like, with those properties, 9,000, at least a minimum of $7 million a month. You know?
Sounds about right.
Okay.
I guess it'd be more than that.
Yeah, well, just round it out. If it's 7 times 12, that's like $84 million a year. That's just coming out of our community. I know some people that don't want to own a home.
But Julius, you think all of that money goes in his pocket? You think he deposits?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not concerned about where the money goes. It's a matter of where it comes from. That comes from our community. Over a period of 5 years, that's $467 million.
Correct.
I'm quite sure he has expenses and all of that.
He's got a lot
of them. My thing is,
I'm not defending him.
I agree with.
But some of us destroy those properties. He's got to pay staff. He's got to hire landscapers. He's got to have plumbers. He's got to have so there's a lot of overhead that goes into it. And by no means am I defending him, but we also got to look at how some of us destroy. We destroy properties.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, I also agree with what you said earlier about. I don't know if it's a form of being lazy. Some people don't want to own a home and rather not want to cut their grass or do their snow. Do they want to pick garbage up outside in the front of your house, in the back of your house? You got people like that. For those people, man, they don't deserve a home because, especially if they move in your neighborhood, if they bring those same practices to your neighborhood, when you keep your lawn manicured and your garbage up, you got some people that moves in next door to you that are throwing trash. I get that. But
let's land the plane, Julius. Are we arriving at a conclusion here? Or are we just?
Well, the conclusion is, for me, I'm going to land the plane. It's a lot of. That's just one of many of avenues that money is being funneled and sucked out of our community. And,
Julius, you can't look at what people about. Julius, you make it seem like it's money that's being stolen from us. Living expenses are people you're going to pay to live somewhere. So we can't look at it as, money's being siphoned out of our community. You got to pay to live, right? So it's not like the money's being stolen.
I'm not expecting people to live for free, and that's not my point. My point is, I just brought up the fact that I'm agreeing with you. That's just one other avenue, money stream that we don't have. If we own more properties, then as homeowners, as compared to renters, then we'll see more of a proper investment in our communities. That's all, man.
All right. Well, thank you for your call. All right. Then he should have started with that. I didn't know where Julius was going. You can't make it seem like somebody paying rent to live and to sleep and to rest and to raise their kids is, money is being taken out of our community. You're going to pay to live somewhere. Ain't nobody living for free. And all I'm saying is, if you were going to pay to live somewhere, consider paying yourself first, because as you pay your mortgage down, the value of your property is going up, especially right now, because we have got a crazy housing shortage because during COVID, 30-year fixed interest rates went down to 2%. A lot of people refinance their homes, and they've got a really, really low interest rate on their mortgage. Like right now, a 30-year fixed is probably just under 7%. So the people that have those 2% mortgages are not putting their houses on the market, because if they buy a new house, they're paying 7%. So the value of those houses is skyrocketing, and that is positively impacting our community. Now it's also creating a housing shortage. But I don't want anyone to think that Barada properties are the only ones that you have to rent from. In the city of Milwaukee, there are between 255,000 and 258,000 units of housing. Okay? Now, a substantial portion of those are rental units. And here's what we estimate, because the rental units versus single-family number of homes kind of fluctuates, because what someone may be renting today, they may get a mortgage and purchase tomorrow. But we have 143,000 to 148,000 rental units right now in the city of Milwaukee. Joe Barada owns 9,000. Meaning Joe Barada doesn't own 134,000 to 137,000 rental units that he does not own. He only owns 9,000. So no, he is not the majority of the own the property in the city of Milwaukee. He owns less than 10%. But for some reason, like all the angry black people rent from Joe Barada, he only owns 9,000 units. What else we got here? Across various investigations and reporting, Barada Properties and companies associated with Joe Barada are widely reported to own and operate approximately 9,000 rental units in Milwaukee. Total Milwaukee rental units, most accurate estimate is 145,000. Barada control units, 9,000. Joe Barada controls 6% of the rental units in Milwaukee. 6%! Meaning 94% of the rental units available are not Barada properties. They don't have the boulders out front. Because you know how you can tell a Barada property. They have red doors on some of the multifamily units. They got real big, like decorative, big boulders, big rocks. That's his signature. That's how you know it's a Barada. So the door will be red, assuming there is a door. Sometimes you can just walk right in the Barada property because there's no. Do y'all know how horrible tenants are? I got a bunch of friends that have side hustles as landlords. Some of them own just a couple of properties. Some of them own a whole portfolio. And they've always tried to encourage me to being a landlord. No way. No way. The stuff they have to deal with, landlords going to collect their rent and being held up at gunpoint, landlords seeing it, and like you have two people on the lease, right? And you go to the property, check your property out. There might be a plumbing issue, or you're the landlord. You're there doing lawn maintenance and cutting the grass. It's 14 people in the house. House is absolutely destroyed. I don't care how much money you're paying me in rent. I cannot see a property that I own in my name, in which I'm paying property taxes, be destroyed for what, $900, $1,100 a month in rent. And when the people move out, and of course you're going to keep their security deposit. Let's say your security deposit is, I don't know, $1,100, right? They've done $48,000 worth of damage. So you can take them to court and sue them. What are you going to get? Nothing. Tears. You do $50,000 worth of damage to my property, I sue you for $50,000 and I get a coupon for a cheeseburger at McDonald's. Don't get me wrong. Cheeseburgers from McDonald's are delicious, but it is not worth it. Dealing with the headache of an irresponsible person. If y'all think that the garbage in front of rental properties is bad, you should look inside some of them. Oh, they're so grotesque. Oh, the dishes and the sink. Oh, don't go in the bathroom. I'm so paranoid about like having a clean bathroom because I have people come to my house and hang out and I do some entertaining. I keep my house extra clean. But there's some, because it's my house. I bought that house when I was in my 20s. I'm 50 years old now. That's my kingdom. It is the place in which I feel the safest. That's home. I take care of it. Some folks, they don't give a hoot. And I would expect, and this is part of my problem for having expectations, especially of black people, that even if you're renting the property, you still live there. Don't you like coming home to a clean house? Ain't nothing like, Zach, I know you know, when you come home to a clean house, you just feel relaxed and probably horny. I don't know. Because what? Why? There you go. All right, I'm going to take a break, come back, and we're going to talk to Kung Fu Lisa on the other side. That's not very nice to call her that. Did she call herself Kung Fu Lisa?
No, but that's nicer than one-legged Lisa.
She calls herself one-legged Lisa sometimes.
Yeah, that's what she called herself last week.
Do you have her her karate chop? Yeah, that's Lisa, actually. Who are you karate chopping with one leg? Like if you have one leg, you can't even. Because if you
karate chop is with your.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, Bob wouldn't be able to karate chop somebody.
But between Bob and Lisa, they'll kick your ass. Because between the two of them, that's a full body. Okay, let's take a break. Come back. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back shortly.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Never miss a moment of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on the new 1017 The Truth.
You know who's responsible for those kids' safety? Everybody at Waterford High School. The police, the law, decency, morality is responsible for those kids' safety. Had the Rufus King High School students been physically attacked, that's not the fault of the coach. That's blaming the victim. Come on, you know better than that. It would be the fault of the attacker.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
In a matchup fueled by speed, strength, and school pride. On Wednesday night, get ready for a city conference battle as the Bradley Tech Trojans take on the South Division Cardinals in a matchup fueled by speed, strength, and school pride. Big plays, loud crowds, and city conference bragging rights are on the line. Tip-off is set for 7 o'clock.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
Gruber Law Offices, serving the people of Wisconsin for over 30 years. Call us today if you've been injured. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Think of my dreams will come back when I do my thing like king like hula. I've been envisioning an AM.
Physical units owned and managed by the City of Milwaukee's Housing Authority. 2,328. So total subsidized units managed by Housing Authority of the City of Milwaukee is 3,800. So between Joe Barata and Hackham, you got about 12,000 units, which is still about 8 or 9% of the total units in the City of Milwaukee. So I bring up Housing Authority units because these are controlled and managed by the City of Milwaukee. The City of Milwaukee is a worse landlord than Joe Barata is. A couple years ago, I had a number of tenants on this show, live in studio, talking about the City of Milwaukee and how bad they are at getting rid of rat, rodent, roach infestations, leaky faucet, leaky pipes, bed bugs, daytime bugs, nighttime bugs, afternoon bugs, ceiling bugs, floor bugs, basement bugs. There's so many bugs. Bugs Bunny. So if Joe Barata is not maintaining his properties, the City of Milwaukee ain't maintaining theirs either. And y'all keep saying, oh, well, the city needs to go after Joe Barata. The city needs to go after itself. Now, there's a reason why some of the city-owned properties might be in dilapidated condition. Because the repair and maintenance of the city-owned properties comes from the federal government. And you know how Trump feels about low-income housing. Let's talk to... Hi, Lisa. How are you doing today? Hello?
I am doing good, Sherwin. How are you?
I'm doing okay, I think. There's a lot of stuff going on in America, which makes people a little anxious. And I don't like when my people are anxious.
We've always been anxious. But anyway, I can't fault Barata for what he's doing, The only thing Barata did that attracted black people, He came, bought the apartment, threw some paint on there, cleaned it up, made it look more contemporary. You know, black folks like the best things. They like stuff they never seen. And that's what they got. You know, I'm like, when I saw it, I'm like, okay, well, so I was living in Milwaukee, Minnesota's all contemporary. They stuff is contemporary. They don't have the brick, the wood cabinets and all that. It's about time Milwaukee get rid of it. A lot of your homes still do have those cabinets, and which makes you got to get rid of it. You got to bring your homes up to par. But anyway, that's what drew black people. I remember he opened up some type of building, like a old bank, so they can go pay their rent. And people were hanging on like their windows, black folks acting a fool, hanging on like their windows happy because they're paying rent. I didn't understand, for the sakes of me, why are you so happy to pay your rent? To Barada. I mean, you just pay your rent. But anyway, before this topic came, I was thinking a couple of days ago about what I'm going to do. And I said, well, Lisa, why don't you buy you some houses, let the people stay there for so many years, and you give them the deed. Have them put a little bit of money in a trust, so when they buy it, they can, pay their down payment and pay whatever, so all that money goes to them. And, when they move in, they'll, of course, have a lawnmower and a shovel, what you call a machine, a snow machine.
A snow blower?
Yeah, I always have a snowboard. They're good. And you pay half of maintenance, and they pay half of maintenance. Like if something happened to the plumbing, I pay half, you pay half.
So wait, you're going to sell the house to somebody and then pay half of the maintenance of the house?
No, I'm going to rent the house.
Rent it. Okay.
I might rent the house, for $1,200 or $1,300, and say they stay there for so many years, and you get the deed to it. It's almost like rent to own or buy to own. Pretty much the same thing. But when you get it, you stay there for so many years, and it's yours.
So are you putting part of the rent they're paying away in an account on their behalf?
Yes.
What about the mortgage you probably have on the property? So are you going into your pocket to save money for them? And these are legitimate questions. Why are you saving money on behalf of grown, responsible adults that when they get a paycheck, they go out and get crab legs?
I'm going to own the property. Once I own the property, then so much money they will give, I will take out of their rent. They will know this to put towards their down payment.
All right.
We got to give them responsibility. And if you don't want to shovel your snow, like you're right. I don't know why black folks are allergic to buying a home. Okay, you don't have to do those responsibilities. Guess what? I got a solution. Buy a condominium. If you don't want to shovel snow and do grass, buy a condominium. Just that simple. You guys, you have so many problems. I got an answer.
Those are more expensive because there's another level of payment.
Well, yeah, you got to pay
condo. The condo fees. I think some of those condo fees are to price would-be condo owners out, because it was a condo I was looking at downtown, and the condo fees were $1,900 a month in addition to what the mortgage was going to be. Damn. So I'm paying almost $6,000 a month, and all the condo fee includes is like cable TV, common insurance, and snow removal. Hell to the no.
What about the gym? What about there was no gym, there was no garage, there was no nothing like that? You right there. I know.
That's a whole other mortgage, Lisa.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't pay it. But, for those black folks that want to, they ain't going to do no snow. Well, then buy a condo. It shut you up then quick, because once you get in those costs, you'll see. But you got to, me, I don't do filth. Hey. I don't do filth. You ain't going to leave them doors open. You ain't going to leave them exterior doors open, them interior doors open. You going to maintain. The lawn going to be maintained. Look, every time y'all mess up something, since I don't know, everybody in that apartment building going to be dinged. You going to learn.
But at the same time, you're putting money away for them to own the property. How somebody rents and they take care of the property is also a good indication.
That's only homeowners. For my apartment buildings and renters, you can bring bed bugs. I'm going to find out who bringing bed bugs. I'm going to give you a notice. Look, I'm going to straighten it out that one time. If I still have bed bugs, you got to go. You got to go, because that's telling me you filthy. Something wrong. You better not go over nobody's house with no bed bugs. I don't care. Well, you better stop your life because you're about to be evicted. You got to come hard and strong with people. I'm not playing with you. You want the best? I will give you the best. You want to live nice? You want to live peaceful? When you come home, you want to go, yeah, you're right, Sherwin. When you come home and close that door, gee, let me get some peace until I got to go to work tomorrow. Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
There's nothing like it, Lisa. Coming home to your own house and it's clean. First thing I do is I take off all my clothes.
Sherwin, look, I like to come home to my house smelling good with them candles going.
I love the candle. I love it. Lisa, you be getting naked. What article of clothing do you take off first? I know you take that bra off first and you shake them things out, because I know when a woman...
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I ain't wore a bra since I got a bra reduction. You got to stop playing with me. Shoot. One girl was like, why your nipples always protruding? I said, why you always got your butt? You're showing your butt. The same reason you showing your butt. I'm showing my new breast.
She said nipples!
Yeah. Shoot. I love my breasts. I tell anybody, you better go get it and get it done and be happy. Love yourself, people. My God, I don't have no problems. Y'all think I'm joking.
No, we don't think you're joking at all.
I got to go get my stump, and I got to go get my cataract. I'll be done.
She just ruined the fantasy.
Good so far.
Just ruined. Okay.
Hey, it's okay. I'll be almost built over brand new again. Get a kidney, that'll be boom. Then I'll go back to work. I don't care what Social Security is. I say, y'all keep the money, but I want to keep the Medicare. I pay into that. Now, y'all keep the money, but I go back to work. It's my boys don't want me to come back, though. But, look, shut up. I can drive across the United States. I've been
Lisa, thank you.
I just want to
now you're sounding like Bob.
Okay. Brother, you do. Just stop being messy. All right, brother. Stop being messy. Bye. Love you, Sherwin. Love you. Love you.
Hate it.
What's happening today? Like what? I think that ICE would come to Milwaukee and be like, what the hell is wrong with these people? We're getting the hell out of here. Just Milwaukeeans being who we are, ICE would be like, no thanks. We don't want nothing to do with these people. Okay, Gentry and Phil, you guys hang on. I'm going to take a break and we'll come right back to you. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey y'all, it's 1017 The Truth's Rhea Riley for Sweet Talks Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. Skip the sterile clinical office feel. Sweet Talk stays on the cutting edge of beauty and wellness innovations in a vibrant, playful space promoting self-love and confidence. Sweet Talk specializes in a range of treatments, including injectables, medical-grade skincare, weight loss, hormone therapies, and more. Not sure where to start? Sweet Talks offers comprehensive wellness consultations to create a customized plan centered around you. Because at Sweet Talks, your goals are their goals. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
It starts with a spark. At Milwaukee College Prep, they nurture that spark from age 3 through 8th grade, building scholars with knowledge, character, and confidence. 88% of their students face economic hardship, but that does not define them. At MCP, they see students' potential, and they help them live up to that potential. 4 campuses, 1 mission. College and beyond, MCP is free, high-performing, and open to all Milwaukee families. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to enroll or get involved. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Let's talk to Gentry. You're on 1017 The Truth.
Good morning.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I was calling to say that the truth is that Barada is a slumlord. You can slap paint on buildings, you can throw rocks in front of it, but a roach is a roach is a roach. A rodent is a rodent is a rodent. If you're not maintaining your properties and you're not fixing what needs to be fixed and you're leaving, people in the slum, those are the type of people that you're going to attract. And I hear a lot of people talking about buying a home, purchasing a home, but a lot of people don't have the credit. There are a lot of programs that educate people on fixing up their credit so that they can buy properties. But that's where it needs to start, with educating people on that. And not only that, they need to be educating people on how to maintain their properties, how to be good members of the community, property owners, and keeping your property clean and picking up garbage and just, helping out your neighbors and whatnot.
Gentry, what if I told you that those programs already exist, from credit repair to basic home maintenance, how to be a good homeowner, how to be a good neighbor? It's all a part of the classes that are offered with organizations like Axe Housing, and we still don't do it. Now, the other thing is, I don't think that somebody who's a grown adult raising kids needs to be taught how to keep a house clean. Like, shouldn't we know that by the time we're 14 or 15 to be clean? Because some things you just aren't going to be able to teach people. But as far as repairing and cleaning up your credit, even getting money for down payment assistance, low interest loans, first-time home buyer incentives, all of that stuff exists, but we still resist it. And I agree, maybe he is a slumlord, but then at the same time, if somebody knows that the property is in disrepair and they got rats and they got roaches, why renew the lease? He only owns 6% of the properties in the city, meaning 94% of the rental property available in Milwaukee is not controlled by Barada. That's the part that I don't understand. Why people keep renewing their leases when they're unhappy with where they're staying.
I agree with that. And that's because a lot of people are content. A lot of people don't like to move. They don't like to raise the bar. But what I'm basically saying, with him not maintaining his properties, then, you're going to attract what you get.
Have you ever lived in a Barada property? You ever lived in one?
I have not, but I know of friends who have.
All right.
And he doesn't respond to his tenants, and I think that's terrible.
No, I agree.
You're gonna attract those type of people because you're not being a role model as a landlord. You're getting this money, and I don't understand why the city keeps giving him money to get more properties and maintain them.
Oh, the city is not. I assure you, the city of Milwaukee is not giving him a penny. He's buying those properties cash. But, Gentry, I got to go. I got to get another phone call in. But thank you for calling us. Ain't no way to sit. If you've seen his private plane, well, most of you haven't. If you go to the Signature Airport, if you look, it's on 9th and Layton. If you look way off in the distance, you see a plane that is so big, it has like its own section. So Signature is the private airport in Milwaukee. But there's a private airport that is just to the north of General Mitchell International Airport, a little private airport. And you look and you see a plane that is the size of this is a 747. It's a commercial jet, big ass plane. It looks like Air Force One. That's Barada's private plane. I assure you, the city of Milwaukee is not giving him any money. Now, he might be buying foreclosed on dilapidated properties that the city owns, because I promise you the city is a worse landlord than Barada. Like, the city will own property and the city won't cut the grass in its own property. And the city will sell them cheap. In fact, there's a list of tax foreclosed properties that the city of Milwaukee owns that some of y'all can buy for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, less than $10,000 purchase price.
I want to say, don't they have auctions for that?
That's not even auctions, Zach. You go make them an offer. Now, they're going to give you a list of stuff that say, okay, we'll sell you this house for $10,000, but here's a $50,000 list of things that need to get done. Because the city overinflates how much work needs to be done on these properties to get them up to code. It usually averages less than 10 grand. The city be like, oh, you got to repair this railing to make it up to code. The railing is going to cost $19,000. I know an old jack leg that'll have a new railing up in 20 minutes. It costs you $900. Yeah, I can take care of that. Yep, But they'll give you a list of things that you need to repair, and they give you a certain amount of time. A lot of people have entered into home ownership by buying a city foreclosed property because the city is trying to liquidate its property. Because if the city of Milwaukee owns property through tax foreclosure, no property taxes are being collected. So some of these houses, they just give away. If you go to the city of Milwaukee Department of Real Estate, you will literally see how big old houses, duplexes sometimes. You can rent to your mama. A lot of people do that. You buy a duplex, you and your kids and your family live in one side, and then you rent the other part to a family member to your mama. But if your mama don't pay, kick her ass out. That's the other thing that people don't understand. A lot of landlords only own one or two properties. They're not like Barada property owners. They own 30, 40 million, trillion, billion houses. They just own one house. Now imagine this. You bring in $5,000 a month with you working and your salary. You got to take care of your kids. You got $5,000 a month. You own a rental property that has a mortgage of $1,000 per month. You got tenants that are in that property that are paying $1,500. For whatever reason, if that tenant is not paying, you now have to pay the mortgage for that month. So you are coming out of your pocket $1,500. How many months do you think that you can do that? Now, remember, you got to take care of yourself and you got to take care of your family, raise your kids. You're making $5,000 a month. You got a rental property that's supposed to bring you an additional $1,500 a month, but you got a mortgage on that rental property, so you're only netting $500. So you're barely making it yourself. And then if that person is not paying rent for 3, 4, 5 months at a time, you want to remove them and replace them with someone who's actually going to pay the rent, because paying two mortgages kills most folks. But then you have all this uproar saying, don't evict people. They don't got nowhere to go. If you have a mortgage on a property and the tenant decides that they don't want to pay and they want to live for free, how long do you expect somebody to come out of their pocket to pay the mortgage on the house they live in and pay the mortgage on the house that they are renting to somebody else? You got to kick people out. You have to. We feel sorry for the people that aren't. Sometimes people just refuse to pay their rent because they went to the damn club. They spent the rent money buying bottles. And now, don't kick me out with me and my kids. You didn't have to go to the twerk contest at Mr. B's. You didn't have to go. I understand why you went. Like, you go to the twerk contest at Mr. B's, spend $1,500 at the club that night, and then the twerk contest, if you win $100. I'm going to win this twerk contest. I bet you there's some Milwaukee men that could win a twerk contest better than women can. Now, I'm not on twerk, Zach. I know you're trying to get me to pop that thing. I don't really have a lot of ass. I really don't. I'm shaped like an upside down triangle. I get smaller as you go lower. Like, I got broad shoulders, but then I got little narrow hips, and I got no ass. I wish I had more junk in the trunk, because women like ass, I come to find out. Women like a nice butt. There's certain pants that I wear, if I pull them up properly, it looks like I got an ass, but that's deceptive. Like, there's certain jeans, like good ass jeans. Certain people, when your ass looks good in the jeans, I got a couple pairs. The jeans I'm wearing today, let me see.
You got to get the Cindy Sweeney ones.
Would it make the ass pop?
Yeah, weren't people like up in an uproar about it because they're talking about her jeans?
I know a lady there's leggings that women can buy that have ass pads in them. I didn't know it was even a thing, because I saw her. I was like, where you get all that ass from? She was like, oh, I don't have it. It's in the leggings. And it was like two pads on the bottom of the butt cheeks.
Would that be called ass fishing?
I have a feeling that ass fishing is something totally different. Why don't we take a break before we make somebody mad? We're going to talk to Millicent, I know Millicent got a lot to say. Millicent is slightly racist. Not a lot. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, she's like a good 6, like a 6.5. But Millicent will just tell these blacks, she'll be like, you black mother father, that's why you're black. You're blackity, black, black, blackity. Stop acting black. You're so black. If you wasn't so black, black, blackity, black, black. Then we'll talk to Miss Nikki, who's always very nice and appreciative. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and I am Milwaukee. I take great pride in being a 414 boy and representing the city that I love. The great memories I have of going to Northtown Cinema to see movies with family and friends, to going to Capitol Court to see the Black Santa Claus, this city has helped shape me into the man that I am today, and I pledge to utilize my voice as a way to advocate for you in our community. Join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
There's nothing like Milwaukee Bucks basketball at Fiserv Forum. The dunks, the defense, the roar of 17,000 fans. It's even better when you're with friends or family. From jaw-dropping plays to buzzer-beating threes, every game is packed with unforgettable moments that you'll get to share together. So gather your crew and get your single game tickets today at bucks.com/single. That's bucks.com/single.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Let's talk to Millicent. Hey, Millicent. Hey. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I think where people are getting lost with Barada is he's the one that rents to you if you have an eviction. So you were probably evicted from a nice place, but you didn't do what you needed to do. So you can't be mad that he's renting to the people that nobody else will rent to. And if his properties are that bad,
why do you continue to rent from him?
Because people don't have a choice, Millicent, and somebody just posted in our YouTube chat that moving is too expensive. One lady said she paid $1,800 to move, so you can't move because it costs too much to move. So you have to stay in the Barada property.
At a Barada property.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that is your truth, you got to live with that. Those are the cards you were dealt. You can't be mad. You got to just play the hand you were dealt. But the problem is, those are the same people that say they don't want to own a house. They don't want better. You cannot complain if you're not trying to do better. I do have another suggestion, though. There are other cities in the country that Barada is not in. Try moving there. Go there. See how that works for you. See if you move to another city, will things be better for you? And then we can determine if it's the city of Milwaukee or if it's just you.
All right, Millicent. We're going to leave it there.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also, let's say you live in a property that has bed bugs. And you rent from, hate picking on Barada, but I guess that's what we're doing today. You live in a Barada property where there's bed bugs. There's bed bugs on the bed. There's bed bugs on the couch. There's bed bugs in the kitchen, in the bathroom, and in the spare bedroom, and even in the front closet. There's bed bugs everywhere. And you can say, oh no, this Barada property has bed bugs in it. Now, when you purchase your own home and you have bed bugs, those are your bed bugs. Big difference. If you live in a house that has the roaches on the floor, roaches on the ceiling, roaches in the bathroom, roaches in the closet, roaches sitting at the dinner table, roaches in the kitchen making a meal. You got roaches all over the place. You can say, oh my God, this Barada property has roaches in it. You buy your own house and you have roaches. Those are your roaches.
It reminds me of a black bald-head bed bug. You hear me? Slithering around trying to get some blood only at night, because you don't hear him at day.
Let's talk to Miss Nikki. Hi, Miss Nikki. How are you?
Hi, Sherwin. Thank you so much for taking my call. I'm just sitting in the background cracking up. You guys are hilarious. But this subject isn't funny at all, Sherwin. I would say I kind of wish more people would really consider home ownership versus just saying I cannot afford. Let somebody tell you no, because if they tell you no, they'll tell you how to fix it, right? You know, and for me, and this is just my own personal opinion, not owning your home is scary because it's such a fundamental basic need. And when you don't own your own home, you put that control in somebody else's hands. And what floors me as well, showing this may not be fair because I've owned my home for over 20 years, but my goodness, the cost, I didn't realize how much rent cost in the city of Milwaukee. So what folks are paying for a 2-bedroom flat, right, or even a 2-bedroom apartment, it's sometimes beyond the amount of the mortgage. So people have to really sit down and consider this. And for my own selfish reasons, on my block, Sherwin, I could point to houses that are renters, whether they are single family or duplexes. And I would love for somebody, a first-time home buyer, to be in one of those properties because it does change the neighborhood when you have more homeowners. It is just that people who own their homes, a lot of times, not everybody, tend to take better care of the properties.
That's true. Thank you, Ms. Nikki.
You're welcome.
I appreciate your call. Our ancestors survived the institution of slavery. But in 2026, cutting grass and shoveling snow is too much labor.
Damn.
James, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you, James?
Hey, you got it, Sean. You got it. Hey, look here, man. I'm gonna tell you, you right about those city properties. But I mean, the city ain't selling my house cheap no more like that, man. I'm telling you, when I was getting them, I was cleaning up $2,000 for a house, $2,500 for a house, $5,000 for a house. At one time, I bought 7 of them at one time because they take 2% off whatever the house costs anyway. You don't even got to negotiate. Then I say, hey, can I give you $1,000 for it? They're like, yeah. I was shocked. I took one house, man. They wanted $8,000, got it for $2,500.
$2,500.
$2,500. Know how much I put in it?
How much you put in it?
$2,500. I didn't even put $2,500. We went in there, painted, and did the floors, man, and got the furnace and all that stuff going. Then I rented it out. Straight up. But yeah, they ain't cheap like that no more, man. Though, the city got that little loophole that deter people from getting them houses. But what you do, like you said, and you was right about it, they overflate that the scope of work. I went in there and said, hey, look, we can do the windows, we can do this for this price. As long as it's a reasonable price, they'll go with it. I take a scope of work from $50,000 and get it down to $15,000.
That's right.
They sign off on it.
That's right.
They sign off on it. So just letting people know that, hey, but I'm out of here, though. Thanks, sir.
All right, then. He said, I'm out of here. 2364 North 21st Street. $15,700. 2424 North 44th Street, $40,000. Some of these are expensive. So when I was a relatively new broadcaster. Remember when the city of Milwaukee had the Dollar House program and I promoted it? Like, it was a little loophole they had on the website where the city was liquidating properties because they wanted to get rid of these properties so bad that they were selling them for $1. Well, obviously repairs had to be done to the properties. And if the city sold them to property owners, they immediately would be collecting property taxes. And that's the money that we need for city services, law enforcement, public safety, blah, 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 whatever. City Hall, they were having a hearing, and I promoted the hearing on my radio show. This must have been 2015, 2016. The city were flooding City Hall. They had to cancel the meeting because so many people wanted to take advantage of the Dollar House program. Do you guys remember this? Some of you do. And what did they do? Do you remember this? Khalif Rainey was on the council when they did this. Because so many people in our community wanted to take advantage of the Dollar House program, they changed one rule. Do you remember that? And we had a fit when they did it. And there was so much public outcry from this rule change, they ended up reversing the rule. They said the Dollar House program is open to everybody unless those that have a felony record. The Black Common Council passed an ordinance that why in the hell, if you have a dope charge from 1992, why does that prevent you from buying a house from the city of Milwaukee? Because there was also real estate developers. A lot of hedge funds were buying those dollar houses. And the city, it seemed at the time, was more content to sell the properties to hedge funds and to billionaires and millionaires and very wealthy people buying up all of our real estate than they were to people that have lived in this damn city and rented in this city for 30 or 40 years. So they put another rule in there that says, oh, you can't have a felony on your record. People had an absolute fit, and they ultimately removed that rule. That was one of the craziest times. I remember Russell Stamper's face at that meeting because the committee meeting that they had to discuss the Dollar House program, see, they didn't publicize it. But they screwed up and let me find out about it. Y'all were down at City Hall acting a fool. The room was packed. The overflow room was packed. The hallway was packed. The rotunda was packed. I remember somebody came over there with a $10 bill. Said, I want 10 houses. Give me $10 Dollar House. I got $10 in cash. Somebody else drew up a $5 bill. I take 5 houses. Somebody had $3. I take 3 houses. Somebody had $1 in change. I got 4 quarters. I got 10 dimes. I got 20 nickels. Give me a house. And the city said, oh, no, we got to stop all these blacks from being homeowners. That's the worst thing ever. So they put in the ordinance to purchase a house from the city of Milwaukee in the Dollar House program. You can't have a felony on your record. And they expected people to go through a background check before they could purchase a tax foreclosed property owned by the city of Milwaukee. And whoever this person is that's calling right now, I can't take your call because my show is over. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.
He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
Regroup, rethink, and reshape, and get on the front lines. It's only to your benefit. I always tell people, you helping the overall ideal of a better community, it actually helps you out. It helps you out, it helps your family.